success rates well over 90%, coupled with many treatment options, we can likely find the right one for you. You may even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us and give your partner the best gift you can give this season. A renewed, restored relationship. Your first visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in our office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Looking for a career that soars above the rest? Join the Missouri Air National Guard St. Joseph. Serve your community and country while gaining cutting-edge training, tuition assistance, and bonuses up to $50,000. From engineering and aviation to cybersecurity and healthcare, there's a place for you. Work part-time, earn full-time benefits, and build a future you can be proud of. Be more, do more. Join something bigger. Start your journey with the Missouri Air National Guard in St. Joseph. Go to ang.com/MO.
This NFL Monday night, FanDuel wants you to win even bigger. Right now, all customers can get a 30% catch-a-pass profit boost for Saints and Packers. That means you can boost your next NFL catch-a-pass player prop by 30% and take home even more winnings during the game. You can bet on the over-unders, point spread, player props, and so much more. Plus, if you win, you'll get paid instantly. So don't wait. Download America's #1 sportsbook app today by visiting FanDuel.com, using my promo code KFNZ, and take advantage of this great profit boost. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Max wager amount applies. Bonus issue with novel drawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Hey, football fans. Time to step up your game with Johnny's Barbecue tailgate packages. Whether you're hosting a home game or tailgate, Johnny's Barbecue has you covered. We've been serving award-winning traditional KC barbecue since 1977. Johnny's Barbecue was featured on diners, drive-ins, and dives with legendary Guy Fieri. It's time you experience KC's hidden gem of barbecue. Check out our tailgate packages at johnny'sbbqkc.com. Located in Olathe and serving all of KC. Johnny's Barbecue, taste the smoke.
Looking for last-minute gifts? Shane Company can help, even if you're still planning to propose. We have a wide selection of hand-picked diamonds and colorful gemstones in stock for dream engagement rings. Come discover fine jewelry gifts in every price range, curated by our in-house design team and crafted with care to our high-quality standards. At Shane Company, we'll protect your gifts with our unmatched free lifetime warranty. Visit shaneco.com to find your store's extended hours and the perfect holiday gifts. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on SingleCare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to SingleCare.com or download the free app today.
Is your everyday congestion preventing you from enjoying life's big moments? Try Vicks Sinex Saline today and get yourself back in the action. Vicks Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion with a gentle ultrafine mist. Sinex Saline's drug-free, no-mess formula instantly moisturizes and soothes dry, irritated nasal passages for quick and effective relief. Get back to enjoying life's big moments to the fullest without having to worry about everyday congestion holding you back. Just Sinex, breathe, use as directed.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. Classes start January 8th. Apply now and save with no application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED. And it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through Hims.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through Hims.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Hey guys, it's Jim Costa from Cash the Ticket. If you're planning on betting college football bowl games, good luck. No, seriously, it's never been harder. And you don't want to be hurting your bankroll. You want to make sure you're doing your homework. Listen to Cash the Ticket. Mike Valeni and I will be breaking down every single bowl game, dropping new episodes nearly every day throughout college football's postseason. Spicing things up with a 12-team playoff. Can't wait to see some of those teams from the South come up north for the snow. Be sure to subscribe to Cash the Ticket on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Arvest Bank, believing in the power of serving others.
Our Best Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Our Best. We believe.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back in here on Cody and Gold. Cody Tapp with you. James Howe on the other side of the glass, filling in for Drew. Just me today here on December 23rd, Christmas week. Chiefs win on Saturday. We'll be back in action on Sunday. And joining us a day early, our VinFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantino. So we can cover all things NFL with Vinnie. Vinnie, how you doing? How's your holiday week so far?
So far, so good.
Are you a big Christmas guy?
Time. Yeah, I guess. I don't have an issue with Christmas.
That doesn't sound like a big Christmas guy. That just sounds like you're indifferent towards it.
Yeah, it's cold. I don't love the cold, so it's good. Like I like the time with family, so that's cool.
Okay, that's good. Do you go out of town, or you guys stay in town?
Staying in town. I'm hosting for the first time ever this year. I have to make a ham for Wednesday, so wish me luck, please.
Have you done research on it?
Not yet. No, I have the ham, but I have not done any research. Apparently, it's a pre-cooked ham, so I think I only need to heat it up. But we'll see. I gotta do some research on it. I'll probably start that tomorrow and see where I'm at.
Probably, it's like scouting reports, Vinny. You gotta get on those a little bit early so you know who you're getting ready to face.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited for the opportunity.
Let's talk Chiefs first, Vinny, since they won against the Texans on Saturday. Andy Reid said that he thought it was the best game they've played all year, the most complete game they've played all year. Should the rest of the AFC be worried that the Chiefs are once again getting right at the right time?
If the rest of the teams in the AFC weren't worried about that, there's something wrong with them anyway. So they should be no more worried than they were last week, but they should have been very worried last week. So, yeah, they should be worried, and they win one more game and they secure the 1 seed, which will be huge. So, yeah, every team should be very worried about the best team in the league.
I mean, logically, I get it, but also, I think a lot of times because you just kind of, put it away, you're like, you know what, maybe they're just not playing well, which is 14-1 anyway. I don't know who was talking themselves into, well, the Chiefs are 10-1, but they're not playing right when they're the 2-time defending Super Bowl champions, I guess.
Yeah, you just need stuff to talk about, either on radio or on TV. That's all it is. It's just trying to build a narrative. They're kind of boring, not in a bad way, but they just win games. They just win tough games and move on, win the next one.
No, I was going to say, do you worry any more about, let's look at their competition a little bit. Let's say the Bills. Bills didn't play very well against the Patriots. Are you one of those, and you play enough AL Central games, you probably know, division games don't get counted the same as far as ugliness goes?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you're going to ask me for my power rankings, and there's a few teams that played tough divisional games this weekend. I mean, the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
The Lions end up, doing a nice job against the Bears, but then the Patriots do pretty good against the Bills. You look at the Chiefs division games, right? 1-score game against the Broncos. They win on the blocked field goal. The Chargers missed the kick, and even the Raiders are playing them kind of tough. So it's division games are just different. You know the teams like Lamar Jackson with the Steelers, like, has a tough time with them. They see him twice a year. You can game plan for a guy you see a lot more. So, yeah, I do think it's division games not necessarily be thrown out, but they do get judged a little bit differently because when you know your opponent a little bit more, those. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think much is going to change this week because pretty much all the teams won. I mean, the Eagles lost, but I'm not really going to move them too far either.
I mean, Jalen Hurts didn't play for 3/4 of that game too.
Right, and it's just they lose by 3 to a playoff team, and they're a division team, and you lose your quarterback in the first. Like, everything changes. So, yeah, I think the Bills are the second best team in the AFC. You just kind of look around at the quarterbacks, and like you got the second best quarterback on that team. So their team's good. They give up too many points, but they can outscore you, so they got a shot.
The Ravens' defense, I think, is like one of the things. Like you mentioned, score too many points. They were one of the league's worst defenses for like 10 or 11 weeks, and they've been one of the better ones over the last month. I can't figure out because like Lamar Jackson's obviously an MVP winning quarterback, Vinnie. So I know he's good. I'm not denying that, but like I don't know how serious to take him when they're in a dogfight for their own division. I feel like if they're a wild card team, I just don't think they can win 3 straight games.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird. They go up and down. Like they don't seem like they're the most consistent team. Like one week Derrick Henry will have 170, and then the next week he'll carry the ball 10 times. Like it's almost like they're trying to figure out who they are, which is a tough spot to be in when you're facing teams like the Chiefs, like the Bills, who know exactly who they are. I know that they, kicked the crap out of the Bills earlier this year.
But that was way earlier. That's a different season ago.
Yeah, it just feels like this is normally the time of the year where Derrick Henry gets better after the bye when it gets colder. And I know he had a good game the other night, but I look at last week and I'm just like, why is that guy not getting the ball 25 times a game? And I get that you have an MVP quarterback on your team, but you don't have like an all-star caliber, like multiple wide receivers and everything like that. And some teams don't either. Like you look at the Chiefs, they don't necessarily have that as well, and they just keep doing it. So I just think they're too inconsistent, and we'll see what happens comes playoff times.
Like, like the Ravens, they would have had a better receiver unit if Deontay Johnson had worked out. Like I'm always confused, and like on an athlete, it's just like I won't go in. I'm not going to do that. Have you at any level of professional sports experienced a player that was like, no thanks, I'm good here?
No. Maybe like in certain cases, but not like anything to that extreme. Obviously you never know what's going on inside a locker room, so it's hard to speak from the outside looking into a locker room. But I think like in the 49ers situation with
Sweat or whatever,
Campbell,
yeah,
they were all very upset about it. Like I haven't heard the outrage of like Ravens players the same way I've heard of 49ers players, because that was like a nationally televised game, like standalone game. But it's crazy, like this is kind of what you work your whole life to do. And I get you feel disrespected, different things like that. We all feel disrespected at some point. I've never met an athlete who doesn't feel like the organization that they're in has screwed them over at some point. So it's just like, it's just hard to speak on it because you don't really know what's going on. But yeah, like it's a bad look, especially when you're trying to get jobs the next year. Like, well, you quit on your team. How am I supposed to trust you if you just quit on your team? Because most guys will give anything to be out there on the field. So to see guys that clearly don't feel the same way is definitely interesting.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Like the inside stuff makes it a challenge because they must have liked him okay if they're not, I guess, just completely burying the guy on the street versus like the other end of the version. But like they had a whole plan at wide receiver. And even despite that, Lamar Jackson's been really good. It's like the AFC, it's always been Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, in my opinion, and no other teams jumped up in there. But it's like the Ravens, like part of their plan failed. So like I have a harder time putting them in the same range as the Bills and the Chiefs.
Yeah, well, they just like at least my entire life, they've always been known as like a team that does things organizationally very well. And this past like year has been weird with that. Like it just doesn't seem like things are going as well as they used to go in Baltimore. And I think sometimes that might be pressure from the teams that are above you. You're trying to do different things sometimes you get a little out of character when you're chasing teams down instead of them chasing you. And they made a few, not necessarily bad decisions, but they've made some decisions that have hurt their team. And it's going to be tough for them to win it all this year because of that, in my opinion.
It sounds like, Vinny, you believe in the age-old idiom used in sports, which is we got to worry about ourselves, not what the other people are doing.
Yeah, I 100% believe in that because as soon as you start worrying about somebody else, then you start trying to do what they're doing, but you're not inside that building, so you don't really know what they're doing. You're just kind of chasing what they're doing, and you don't know what it is.
So you're saying you don't try to every day be Bobby Wood Jr.?
That is correct. If I tried to do that, I would be in a bad spot. I just try to be myself.
I just like the idea of you're like, no, I'm stretching doubles into triples now and singles into doubles. Like that. That's step one.
I'm just going to start doing that. Well, I tell you, that's how in my mind, that's how analytics has kind of ruined sports, is because it's becoming more cookie cutter. Like, okay, I know what it takes to be valuable. I'm just going to try to do that instead of getting on base at a 400 clip, which that's super valuable, obviously, right? But I'm just going to try to slug because slug's all that matters. OPS is all that matters. So I'm just going to try to get my slug up as much as humanly possible because they're basically saying, well, batting average doesn't matter if you hit a bunch of home runs. It's the same thing that's going on in the NBA, right? 3 is more valuable than 2. So instead of playing like real basketball, let's just shoot 3s because we're really good at making them.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm done.
I actually kind of like, because I was going to ask you, because baseball keeps tinkering with that stuff. I didn't know how you felt about the golden bat rule.
That's if I'm being completely honest, I think that's a negotiating tactic for a fight that's coming in 2 years. But that will never happen.
Little bite of cheese to try to work through the other stuff?
In my opinion. I don't have any evidence of that being the case, but that's a fundamentally changing the game. The game that's built on stats alone, we're just going to add a new at bat, and like that, there's no way. There's no way. I get that, and maybe it does happen. I don't know. I just think it would be crazy. I just think it would be absolutely crazy to just change the game completely, like on its face. Like we're just going to do something that's not even close to the rules of the game. We're just going to do it.
One more regular football question, then we'll get to your power rankings, Vinny. The Cincinnati Bengals, they technically still have a chance to make the postseason. They have to win their last 2 games. They need Miami to lose 1 of 2, and they need the Colts to lose 1 of 2. If Cincinnati gets in, are they dangerous?
I guess, because they can score 50 points, but if they score 50, they're probably giving up 70. Like, are they dangerous? Yes, because they can beat you in a 1 game. But I think they're one of those teams that, like, sure, they can win 1, but they're not going to run off 4 in a row. Like, that's not going to happen. I think if you were to ask me if it's going to be Chiefs-Bills in the AFC Championship or the field, I'm taking Chiefs-Bills. I just think those 2 teams are kind of head and shoulders above everybody else. Now, they could lose any given Sunday, right? But I just don't think it's going to happen.
All right, James, I'm going to play a little NFL music here for Vinny as he gives us his official power rankings. All right, who's your 1 through 5 this week, Vinny? Chiefs are at the top. I can assume that.
Yeah, Chiefs are at the top. I think I moved the Bills up and the Eagles down 1, right? That's it. The Eagles were 2.
The Eagles were 2. So the Bills up to 2, Eagles at 3?
Bills up to 2, Lions up to 3, Eagles to 4, because we don't know their quarterback situation. I know that the Lions, like every single player of theirs is on injured reserve, but they keep finding ways to win. So that's good. And then at 5, I'm going to move the Vikings up to 5 this week because the Packers haven't played yet. But if the Packers win and look good tonight, they're 5 and the Vikings are 6.
Okay, so you'll still give the Packers the edge like last week. If they win tonight against New Orleans, a team they obviously should beat. They lose tonight, they deserve to fall in your rankings, in fairness.
Yeah, if they lose tonight, they're going to fall to like 8. But if they win tonight, and like if it's not, I mean, I know that the Vikings beat the Seahawks by 3, but tough environment, road game. I think the Packers are at home tonight, right? Or are they on the road?
Home. It's supposed to snow at Lambeau, so if you just want to feel like Christmas week, throw in a little football snow at Lambeau.
I have no evidence of this, but just in my mind, the last time the Saints played in Lambeau, didn't Alvin Kamara score 6 touchdowns?
I mean, he did have a 6-touchdown game at Lambeau.
I think that may have been the last time they were there, but I don't know.
You saying I don't have Kamara in a fantasy football league.
No,
that was 2020, so, I mean, very well could have been. Yeah.
Could have been.
I wouldn't rule it out. Maybe it was, I don't know. Maybe it was Minnesota. I don't know.
So, yeah, those are my power rankings this week.
Okay. Those are Vinny's power rankings. We got his 1 through 5. We'll get them out. You guys can give your own opinions. There's always some smart ass, by the way, on social that's like, I can't believe this guy even has
Later this afternoon, I'll post them on my Twitter again, and we'll see how it goes. But I'm playing golf. I'm playing golf at 11:30. Then I'll be home. Then I'll have access to my Twitter account.
Are you good at golf?
No, not at all. And I'm not even going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, I'm okay. No, like I'm bad at golf, but I like being there. I like being outside.
Okay. Like shooting 120 or like, I mean, what are we, not keeping score?
In the 90s.
Oh, okay. That's not that bad.
If I get hot, I'll be in the high 80s, but typically in the 90s.
Dude, that actually makes you like better than most people probably who play golf.
Yeah, well, I can hit the ball far, which helps, and my best part of my game is chipping and putting. So if I can get up there and if I can get within 120 yards, like I'll have a good hole. But if I'm 200 yards out after the drive, I'm screwed.
All right, Vinny. Before I let you go, I want to ask you one more question since it's Christmas week. I gave you a power rankings of this. Can I get a 1-2 power rankings of Christmas movies? Just the number 1 and number 2 all-time Christmas movies.
Sure. I like The Grinch, and I like Home Alone.
The original Grinch?
All of them. I like the animated one. I like the Jim Carrey one. Maybe those are the only 2.
Okay. I was like, well, there's like a bunch of Grinch movies. There's several animated ones. But if you're just talking the original.
Yeah, sure, the original. I'm not the most educated on Christmas movies, but I'm going to go with those 2.
Vinny, we always appreciate the time. Enjoy the holiday week. Good luck at golf, and we'll talk to you, if not next week, the week after. We'll find some time here soon.
Yeah, thanks, Cody.
That's Vinnie Pasquantino, our NFL insider, and Christmas movie. Not connoisseur, it sounds like. I'll be honest. Doesn't sound like he's big on that. James, what do you have? Just the Grinch? He said he liked the Jim Carrey Grinch. That's a hot topic. A lot of people think that one's trash.
Yeah, it's all right. I would go with the original. My all-time favorite Christmas movie, though, I'd have to say it's Die Hard.
Die Hard, huh?
And yes, it's a Christmas movie.
You're just gonna open up that door today, huh?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it takes place at Christmas. So I mean, I can't argue with that. Also, like, if you want to call it a Christmas movie, I don't, not you, just in general, I don't care. Who am I here to argue, right? Like, yeah, enjoy your life. It's a Christmas movie. Like that's one thing I try actively not to do, which is tell people things they can't enjoy. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
You want to call it a Christmas movie? Kudos. I'm not here to argue on the other end. How about Vinny saying I'm not good at golf? I shoot in the 90s most of the time. The 80s sometimes. Do you know how few people score in the 80s in golf?
I mean, I shoot in the 110s.
Yeah, I don't shoot in the 80s. I have shot a score in the 80s.
Yeah.
But like twice.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not claiming to be good at golf either. I'm just saying, like, Vinny's not, not an island there.
Well, the guy's
pretty good score.
Naturally athletic.
Yeah. Kamara, by the way, they're saying is not projected to play, but tonight.
Yeah, he's not going to play tonight. I have him on one of my fantasy leagues.
Now people are saying Trading Places is a Christmas movie. Gremlins is a Christmas. These all take place at Christmas. That's when the gift is. If Die Hard counts, they all count.
They have to count.
I will say. Although my kids and I are not going to sit around tonight and watch Gremlins. Right?
Yeah.
Like, they probably won't watch Die Hard either. But we're not going to sit around and watch. We're not going to watch Gremlins tonight. That's for sure. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll get to all things Chiefs with Nate Taylor of The Athletic. He'll join us, thanks to Mark Ferguson, in just a few moments. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the college football playoff over the weekend. The Final Eight are decided. There were a lot of blowouts.
the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared. Give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Navy stores. Sweaters are just $15 for adults and $12 for kids. Hurry in for last-minute gifts with sweaters at $15 for adults, $12 for kids this Monday and Tuesday only at Old Navy. Valid 12/23 and 24 in stores and select styles only.
This holiday season, make Park & Go your go-to for airport parking. With all covered parking, you'll return to a car that's safe from the snow and ice. The best part, Park & Go shuttle service is ready and waiting for you and your family the moment you park. No standing around in the cold. Fast, hassle-free, and open 24/7, Park & Go offers top-notch service at the lowest price. See why me and my family will only use Park & Go when we travel. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. From our family to yours, happy holidays from Park & Go.
MD Anderson Cancer Center is again ranked #1 in the nation for cancer care by U.S. News & World Report's Best Hospitals rankings. Our physicians treat more types of cancers in a day than many see in their whole career. This unmatched depth of expertise, combined with our groundbreaking discoveries, gives our patients access to the most innovative treatment options. Learn more at mdanderson.org.
When you have an expert financial partner invested in you, you can't help but feel like a star. Like the new graduate opening their first investment account, the small business owner proudly adding a new location, or the young couple buying their first home. At Community America, we're invested in helping members achieve financial peace of mind with products and services tailored to each stage of life. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
Hey, it's Karen with Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Ready to replace that roof? We have flexible financing options, 12 months same as cash, and don't make a payment for 90 days. And that's just one of many options we offer. Get on the schedule now with our in-house Consumer Credit Center. One call does it all for flexible payment options, affordability, and peace of mind. Visit shamrockroofer.com. That's shamrockroofer.com or call 1-866-932-3545 today.
The NFL playoffs are almost here. It's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up a W. You can bet on who will win the game, and FanDuel has bets for which players will score a touchdown, how many points each team will score, and more. Just visit FanDuel.com/610Bob to join today. That's FanDuel.com/610Bob for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is not withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel's offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help's your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Well, you did it again. You waited to the last minute to find a special gift for your special lady. Guys, I've got your back at House of Diamonds. Earrings, pendants, and one-of-a-kind designs. You pick it, we wrap it. Come see me, Gene, at House of Diamonds.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Don't let cold season make you miserable. Try the quick, drug-free solution for nasal congestion, Navage. Navage uses gentle suction to flush out your sinuses with refreshing saline, helping you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier all winter long. And here's even better news. Navage is now available at select warehouse clubs in a great new value pack. It's everything you need to start breathing better fast. Check out Navage at your local retailer today. Navage, Navage, breathe easy.
We got a new function on the Odyssey app.
Did you guys know that this is a thing? I can send you messages from the Odyssey app. Kind of crazy.
KFNZ FM and AM HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
We get the intro music again? Is that just like randomly in the music selector? That's incredible.
Yeah, it's on the
Welcome back to Cody and Gold. This is hour 2, believe it or not, of Cody and Gold. We just get the song twice today. Just me today, James Howell on the other side of the glass. But our guy Nate Taylor normally joins us on a Tuesday. Will join us on a Monday because the Chiefs play on Christmas Day. Of course, Nate Taylor is presented by Mark Ferguson. We all make mistakes. Let Mark and his legal team make the best of them. Call 816-221-1750. Nate, happy early Christmas, I suppose. This has got to be like you're a parent who covers the NFL and the Chiefs playing Christmas. So this week sucks for you, I assume?
It's not great. I wanna say a Merry Christmas to you and everybody else in my beloved hometown. I also want to say Merry Christmas to Roger Goodell and Netflix because at least I'm getting overtime pay, holiday pay, I guess. My Holly, my wife, and Hayden, my son, they've never seen Pittsburgh, so they're going to see Pittsburgh in late December. It's going to be excellent.
You guys are all doing Christmas in Pittsburgh?
Yes, sir. Yes. This was once the schedule came out, we were pretty much in a pickle because, unlike last year, we did the usual Christmas and then, I headed to Arrowhead, which the Chiefs obviously, sleptwalked through that game to another loss. This time, because it's on the road and it's in the middle of the week and there's no school, obviously, we had the ability to decide whether or not you want to go to Pittsburgh in late December. My biggest concern was that it was going to be like frigid cold, maybe some ice, maybe some snow. That does not appear to be in the forecast. But yeah, a lovely Christmas gift is, hey kid, do you want to see Russell Wilson play football in person?
That's the same as getting a lump of coal in your stocking if it was a couple of years ago. At least now it's like getting socks. It's not a lump of coal, but it's like getting socks when you're that age. You're like, I mean, fine, but he's never going to appreciate that that's a good gift now.
Right. And the hope is that this is a Christmas you will never forget, just because it will be so unique and abnormal to anything he's experienced before. My son is 9, and yes, we will still, send, the tracker for Santa.
Nice.
We're going to have to, maneuver some things, from a parent standpoint. But yeah, I mean, as much as this is not thrilling for anybody involved, honestly, you just try to make the best of it. You understand that the Chiefs now need this game. That was some concern when the schedule came out too. It was like, okay, either they're going to really, really need this game, or it's going to be an utter waste of time, just because either the Steelers won't need it or the Chiefs won't need it, or Lord forbid, both teams won't need it. But both teams do. So the NFL kind of lucks out in that factor. But I just hate that as much as my son loves, hotels and the whole swimming pool,
just watched it.
I know, right? And by the way, like, you're not going to see Tank Dale because, that
was awful.
So awful on Saturday. Of course, we might not see Joey Porter Jr. because, football.
Might not see Chris Jones.
You might not see Chris Jones. You might not see – even T.J. Watt was just like a shell of himself against the Ravens on Saturday. So it's just – again, it's not a good product. You're just doing this just for a money grab, and everybody understands it. And again, is Netflix ready? That's like the big thing looming over all of this is how hilarious would it be if, as you're saying, Cody, we just saw all these teams. We're going to see an even perhaps reduced version of all these teams again. And, oh, by the way, nobody can watch it. Or a very small fraction of the audience can watch it. It would be a colossal issue. But, in some ways, the MVP of the Chiefs right now is Joe Thuney. The idea that this man is about to play likely 3 games in 11 days out of position at the most important position on the offensive line and trying to keep Patrick Mahomes upright with a sprained ankle injury. My God, what are we doing? Like the more I talk through this with you, and I hope the audience understands this, like as they obviously are running errands trying to get last minute Christmas shopping, like this is absurd. Like, this is totally absurd, and they should never do this again, in my honest opinion. Which means, hey, 18 games, 2 bye weeks, see you on Wednesday, 2027 already on Christmas Day.
Bingo. That at least solves part of the problem, the double bye week, because then everyone gets one early and everyone gets one late.
Gets one late, yes.
When you look at what Joe Thuney has done, I thought he played better this game than he played in the previous game. Lesser opponents, but Texans they've got some big boy pass rushers. It's not like they're bad. I thought it was better, but I still think the best version is get DJ Humphries healthy by the Broncos game and let him do it.
Yes. The issue, though, is, we're going into a scenario where, again, I don't know if DJ is going to practice. The plan last week was for him to, be available for Wednesday's game, if everything feels right. But again, he might only get like a couple reps today, and then obviously the team has to fly tomorrow for Wednesday's game. But the issue is we may go through a scenario where if it's Joe Thuney again on Wednesday, basically in a, must-win divisional round playoff game, we all assume, he will have only had 60 reps with Patrick Mahomes, with the two of them playing together. It's so unfortunate that he had the hamstring injury, very late in that comeback win against the Chargers, to where it's like, all right, we got to put Wanya Morris back out there. And then, of course, they realize, oh, wait, Myles Garrett and T.J. Watt are nearby on the schedule. Let's not do that again. So, yes, I think Joe Thuney has played excellent. Danielle Hunter tried a number of moves. None of them worked. It was awesome to know that, okay, it's like Joe Thuney understood everything Patrick did from Sunday to, obviously last Saturday to get himself ready to play the game, and then took it upon himself to be like, he is not the reason we are losing today. I am not going to let anybody get near this man. I will die, valiantly to protect my quarterback, who's obviously playing through a lot of pain himself. And his technique was pretty sound. He doesn't have the best arms, but he knows where to be. He can move his feet. He can be in the proper spots. If T.J. Watt plays on Saturday, that'll be a completely different challenge. Now, you might argue, on Wednesday, T.J. may actually play more on the opposite side because, we might see Wanya Morris instead of Jawan Taylor, given the fact that he couldn't finish Saturday's game. But for now, the offensive line looked actually functionable, looked actually professional against the Houston Texans.
When you look at what the wide receivers are doing, Nate, I think you can officially make an argument. Like, let's just look at we pretty much know the AFC playoff field. I guess there's still a chance Denver blows it and lets either the Colts, Miami, or Cincinnati in. But it still takes a lot of things to go wrong or right. Like, Cincinnati has to win this weekend, and then Miami and the Colts have to lose one of their final 2 games. Miami does not have a terribly difficult schedule, so let's just pretend we know the teams. I think you can officially make an argument with the return of Hollywood Brown that out of all 7 playoff teams, the Chiefs have the best wide receiver unit in the AFC.
Ooh, interesting. Without even Rashee Rice.
So DeAndre Hopkins is a capable veteran. I don't think he can separate, but he's a capable veteran who can make a difficult third down catch. Xavier Worthy has grown exponentially in the last 6 to 7 weeks. And Hollywood Brown didn't even look like he missed a step coming in for Mahomes. Not to mention Kelsey and Gray. So, I mean, like, when you start to saying, like, receivers on the field, I'm having a hard time seeing a team that has more offensive weapons than the Chiefs in the AFC.
Right. And let's not forget that, Samaje Perine all of a sudden became Jared McKinnon on Saturday, too. So he looks to be right on time for this postseason run. It's a great point. I mean, I can't necessarily argue it because I think the two teams that would have the best tandem are obviously chasing for the 7th seed, Miami and, Cincinnati.
Yeah. It's better than the Chargers and the Broncos' weapons. It's better than the Ravens' weapons. Like, if you start turning and running back, and we mentioned Derrick Henry, maybe it's different. But
right. Yeah, the Ravens have an interesting group because it's Isaiah Likely, similar to Travis Kelce, you have Mark Andrews, of course.
Zay Flowers has been great.
Zay Flowers has been great. You kind of have Rashad Bateman. I mean, I guess, but
fine.
it's not as explosive the potential that the Chiefs have. And then you look at you look at Buffalo. It appears that the injury for Keon Coleman is going to take some time for him to get back in rhythm. And of course, they would need the 1 seed for a number of issues too, because we're now learning that Josh Allen is playing with another broken hand. So it's not like he's 100% either. Yes, Amari Cooper's been okay, but he hasn't been spectacular. And it really is Josh and like Khalil Shakur. I mean, okay. I mean, I guess.
Look, if you go to the NFC side, it's easy, right? I can mention Amon Ra and Jameson Williams, or, I mean, Jesus, everybody on the Vikings, whatever. But
the
like,
Vikings are so good. Yeah, oh my God! I mean, watching them yesterday was really fun.
Yeah, I mean, Addison and Justin Jefferson. Look,
so good.
I mean,
TJ Hawkins is like the 3rd or 4th option. It's wild.
But in the AFC side, I honestly think it's the Chiefs. I think what stands like, I pointed this out like 3 weeks ago, and I am not the only person who noticed it. I think the Chiefs did this on purpose. Like 3 weeks ago, they started. Xavier Worthy got better right at the Bills game. The identical time that Rashee Rice took off is when Xavier Worthy started playing better in season. But also what they did at that time was they started having him run all of Rashee Rice's routes, and he started doing all this underneath stuff, and I'm convinced it's because they knew Hollywood would do the other stuff when he came back.
Right. Or he's at least projected. And Gideon has the experience and the wherewithal to know, how to quickly get back in rhythm with Patrick based on everything we saw in training camp, which, by the way, he was awesome in training camp, which is why the injury was so discombobulating for the rest of the offense. The beauty is now they're starting to become very interchangeable at multiple, areas of the field, right? So you can have a Justin Watson or a Hollywood Brown, obviously, and Xavier Worthy go deep, right? All to varying degrees, but at least from the opponent, hey, Justin Watson can get over my head if I don't play it right. Now you have Travis Kelce and DeAndre Hopkins, who can play underneath, who could be in the intermediate area, who can both guys can make contested catches, especially in one-on-one opportunities against zone in particular. And now we have the speed threat and the breakability of, hey, if we miss this tackle, Xavier Worthy might not be catchable in the short stuff. Hey, we might just go to a bunch formation, and the Houston Texans are saying we can't do man-to-man coverage because you're too quick off the line of scrimmage. So let's just play zone. Oh my God, he scored a touchdown on us anyway. He got to the pylon before we could even react to it based on the quick throw of Patrick Mahomes. So they are starting to find answers. Of course, you can add in the screen game. Xavier Worthy can be explosive even behind the line of scrimmage, right, on these reverses, on these sort of bubble screens. So they have a lot of options. If Hollywood can continue to get better over at least Wednesday's game, right? Let's say the Chiefs win, everybody, Lord willing, stays healthy. But, hey, you could give Hollywood 35, maybe 40 snaps, and all of a sudden someone's going to be open at a consistent level, which means Patrick is usually going to find the right answer to the test in terms of secondary, which means if the offensive line can withhold for 2.5 to 3 seconds based on the speed, and to your point, Cody, the possibilities that you have from a pass-catching standpoint, even out of the backfield, this might be a harder test than what the Bills saw earlier this year, what the Ravens saw earlier this year. And obviously, if you have to play either the Broncos or the Chargers, guess what? All that stuff, all those games you played against us, all that film you have, it's meaningless compared to actually what we've been doing, since the Texans-Steelers game before they got the 1 seed.
Do the Chiefs view Xavier Worthy as their number one wideout? He's got 11 targets in each of the last 2 games. That's the most on the team.
I think they are, kind of to your point, Cody, trying to get this man as many viable reps to get him to be at his most explosive and reliable self for the postseason. Because they did do something very similar with Rashid Rice. It was a little different in terms of the routes he was running, but they tried to give him the ball as much as possible because he is the thing that can really separate them against anybody else from a coverage standpoint. You know what you have in Travis Kelce, right? Who's just like, hey, man, I catch the ball, I go down, I am saving my body literally for January. You know what DeAndre Hopkins is going to bring you on a third down or a contested catch situation.
Yeah.
And obviously, like we said before, Hollywood Brown, if he gets more opportunities, he should obviously get back to, what we expect from him, what we saw from him earlier in his career. So the only guy that you can really tap into the potential and see how much you can maximize it between now and what we think will be the divisional round is Xavier Worthy. So it is smart of the coaching staff to say, hey, he's played every game this season. He has not had a major injury yet. So we know he's our greatest threat, and let's just give him as many touches as possible because putting that on film can open up so much for Travis Kelce, for Hollywood Brown, and DeAndre Hopkins.
Nate, appreciate the time. We know we're going to hear from Andy Reid. Otherwise, I'd ask you who's going to play. Taylor, Humphreys. Jones. The list's getting long.
Yeah.
But at least we know they're short-term injuries. We'll hear it from Andy in about 20 minutes. We appreciate the time, Nate. Thanks.
All right, anytime, Phyllis.
Nate Taylor over The Athletic. You can hear him presented by Mark Ferguson. We all make mistakes. Let Mark and his legal team make the best of them. 816-221-1750. We come back. We're going to talk more about Xavier Worthy alone. Maybe get a trash the day in. We'll see because we got Andy Reid coming up at 11:45. We're going to get to an early break. We'll talk Xavier Worthy coming up next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
This NFL Monday Night Football, FanDuel wants you to win even bigger. Right now, all customers can get a 30% catch-a-pass profit boost on the Saints-Packers game. That means you can boost your next NFL catch-a-pass bet by 30% and take home even more winnings during the game. Bet on over-under, spreads, player props, and so much more. Plus, if you win, you'll get paid instantly. So don't wait. Download America's #1 sportsbook by visiting FanDuel.com/610Bob to take advantage of a profit boost today. FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas, opt-in required. Max wager amount applies. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Men, it's the holidays, the season of all kinds of hustle and bustle. But if your energy is down, if you aren't sleeping well, if your sex drive is MIA, and you just don't feel like the guy you once were, maybe it's tough to get excited for all the holiday cheer. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if this sounds like you may have low testosterone. And if so, this is the season for you to get treated. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating low T. If you're like most guys, you'll feel the change in just a few weeks. And truly, the results can be life-changing. You'll have improved mental clarity, your energy will kick up, your workouts will be better, your sleep patterns will improve, and your sex drive will likely heat up as well. So call us and don't go through another season with low T. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Thanks, Bob. We're here with Doug the Elf, asking about the hottest holiday gifts of the year. Doug, what's on your list?
Yeah, we're getting Missouri lottery scratchers and draw games. We came all the way from the North Pole.
They don't have lottery tickets there?
Now Missouri lottery tickets. They created a new millionaire every 8.1 days last year. Woohoo! I just won!
But I thought that was a gift.
Well, yeah, for me.
You heard it here first. Scratchers and draw games from the Missouri Lottery make great gifts for the holidays. Play it forward and play responsibly. Back to you in the studio.
Well, guys, you did it again. Even though Christmas is on the same date every year, you got busy, and now it's crunch time. And you got nothing for her. Well, that's not exactly true. You got me. This is Gene at House of Diamonds, where there are 3 things we do better than anyone else. We have better diamonds at better prices than even the online guys. We have the most skilled and technologically advanced custom jewelry shop within 200 miles. And no one, I mean no one, personally takes care of last-minute shoppers like I do. Hey, until I opened House of Diamonds, that last-minute guy was me. So I get it. Come in and see me. I'll show you a collection of one-of-a-kind pendants, earrings, bracelets, and rings that will blow her away. She'll think you started working on this back in July. Fellow procrastinators, I've got your back. Come see me at House of Diamonds. House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
What if you could hear your favorite song for the first time again? Introducing the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks. With an available Bose Personal Plus sound system that uses speakers in the headrest to create a 360-degree listening experience. You've never heard anything like this. Reimagine your music and your drive. Experience the all-new reimagined Nissan Kicks for yourself at nissanusa.com today.
Available feature. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
This holiday season, Straight Talk Wireless is letting you say yes a lot more with real unlimited data. Yes to sharing pics of the ugliest holiday sweaters. Yes to checking weather on the go for surprise sledding trips. And with a free phone at sign up, let the yes-tivities begin.
No way!
Yes way. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart or straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 1/5/25 while supplies last at participating stores. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation on select single-line plans. Limit of 2 phones per customer. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-770-2727. 800-770-2727.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group. Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
It's football season, and now you can get anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. You can't get a running back, but baby back ribs? Yes. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Brought to you by the Kansas City Symphony.
Experience the film that started it all as your Kansas City Symphony performs with a full movie on the big screen. Don't miss this magical concert January 29th through February 1st. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone in concert. Tickets at kcsymphony.org.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back here on Cody and Gold. Cody Tab with you on this December 23rd. James Howell on the other side of the glass. We'll hear from Andy Reid and I think Patrick Mahomes. They just said and players. If you did this based on the normal time players would be available, Mahomes would talk. We'll hear from at least Andy Reid coming up in about 15 minutes or so. Plus, my guy, Steven Serda, former producer of this show, will be joining us in studio for his Venture Club Foolish. He does all kinds of Chiefs podcasting coverage. Used to be the Arrowhead Pride Podcast Network. He pretty much took over all the shows from that and took them over to his side of things. So if you've been looking for that content, you can find it with him at Foolish Club Media. So we'll get him in studio from noon until 2 as well. Our thanks to Nate again for joining us in studio for just a minute. James, real quick before we get to some Xavier Worthy topic. Y'all done with your Christmas shopping? Because I think we can all help each other out here on the text line, 913-586-7965. And if you thought of a good last-minute Christmas gift for your significant other, text it in. I'll toss a few out there throughout this show to help other people. But if you had a good last-minute Christmas gift idea or you need one, the text line can save us all, 913-586-7965.
Yeah, no, I've got most of my Christmas shopping done. I do have a few kids, so most of their stuff is taken care of. Now, the wife, on the other hand, I'm still kind of pondering some ideas.
Oh, man, it's the 23rd.
Yeah.
You're going to have to just it's going to be about action after the show, I think.
Yeah, you're telling me. I know she's a big Harry Potter fan, so I could probably go up to like Barnes & Noble or something and
find something Harry Potter?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which house is she?
She's
if they're big Harry Potter fans, okay. I was like, they've got a preference.
Yeah, she's a Hufflepuff.
That's harder stuff to find than Gryffindor, man. You can find all kinds of that stuff. You got to be working harder to be finding off houses, you know?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I don't know much. I've seen half of the movies and read like one book.
Oh man, you're missing out.
I don't know if it hit me at a weird age, I think is part of it. Like I was probably like in late high school.
Yeah.
When all that stuff hit. So, like, I think it just hit me at an age where I didn't, like, I didn't exactly
didn't really
hit.
Take very much. I understand that. They're good movies. I haven't read all of them.
Okay.
She's a bookworm. She's read them all probably 7-8 times at least.
Oh, that's nuts.
Yeah. Well, she's got a
crazy.
whole library.
That's crazy.
But
my wife's a librarian, so, like, I'm familiar with people who read a lot. But, man, reading the same book 7 or 8 times. I think the most I've read any book is probably 3 or 4. A book, not an entire series. And that's just like the ones that I always thought were great books out of youth that I've picked back up that I read multiple times as a kid, like A Wrinkle in Time or The Giver or something. Yeah. Or then like the couple of books I've read like 2 or 3 times in adulthood, like, I don't know, I mean, I can't even think. Like Devil in the White City, I think I've read twice. Like, maybe 3 times. That's about the best I can do.
Yeah, I'm not a big reader. I think the last book I read was something Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs, that was sold at Price Chopper after the first year we won it. I think that was the last book I read.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, look, it works. I think that was written by good friend Matt Derrick, if I remember right. Yeah. So, text line, very unhelpful. At least at the end. From the 913, if you need good Harry Potter stuff, go to Box Lunch at the Oak Park Mall, not terribly far from here. Okay. So somebody already helping you out.
See?
Someone just says, just get her an Amazon gift card. I don't know if that's going to work, but we'll see. We'll see. Someone says, $100 gift card to Target. Gift cards are tough, man, for significant others. Not saying they can't work. But that'd be the case. From the 417, one of the best gifts you can get for Harry Potter fans is the illustrated books, which my kids have. Sure. Those heavily illustrated ones are really cool. Yeah. They've got like the first 3, I think. So we've read some of those with them as well.
The problem with gift cards, especially when it comes to significant others, is she turns around and she looks at you and she says, well, you didn't put any thought into this.
Yeah, it's a risk. It's a risk, man. You got to know your wife in that situation. That's for sure, James. Yep. We'll take a break here in about 10 minutes when we get to Andy Reid and hear from him, get some injury updates from him, at least on that end. But I want to talk about Xavier Worthy and what I had asked Nate Taylor, which is, do the Chiefs know that Xavier Worthy is their number 1 wide receiver? Because I think it's fairly obvious he is. So unless Hollywood Brown is going to take that crown from him sometime in the next 2 weeks, having not played at all for the Chiefs until this previous Saturday game, Xavier Worthy is their best wide receiver. He's led them in receiving yardage each of the last 2 weeks at 65 and 46. He's led them in receiving yardage 3 of the last 7 games. That goes back to the Buffalo game in which I told you he was the best. Sure, Gray or Hopkins or Kelsey knocked him off every once in a while. And there's been other players who have certainly had their moments. He's also got 3 touchdowns during that time. There's 2 things that I think are kind of universally true about what's been happening with Xavier Worthy. 1, he is not Rashee Rice in his rookie year. Rashee Rice was going to have 1,200 yards receiving this year. I think that, at least that seemed obvious to me. I don't know about everyone else. I thought he was a 1,000-yard receiver no matter what. He was going to be a 1,300-yard receiver this year had he played the entire year. Rashee Rice, at the end of last year, was getting more catches for more yards, more consistently than Xavier Worthy. But I think it's also important to note that Xavier Worthy is doing this while there are actual other options inside the offense. Who the hell, other than Travis Kelce, was taking targets away from Rashee Rice late in the year last year? What were you going to do? Break off something for Sky Moore or Kadarius Toney? Justin Watson just had to get his? No. There was no one to throw the ball to late last year. So if you look through the last 8 games either played in either season. So Xavier Worthy now since the Buffalo Bills game, or the final 8 games of the season last year for Rashee Rice. Every single one of Rashee Rice's games are essentially going to be 2 catches for about 20 yards higher. Every single game. Well, that's because of who they had to throw to. I don't think Xavier Worthy is Rashee Rice yet. But I think it looks like you might end up with A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, and that is no longer absurd. Over his last 6 games, Xavier Worthy is on a 900-yard, 8-touchdown pace. That's Devonta Smith. When we saw Rashee Rice at the beginning of this year and the end of last year, including the playoffs, he was a 1,300-yard wide receiver. That's your A.J. Brown. And what you might have done in having to speed turbo boost both of their development because of a lack of wide receivers last year and an injured group of wide receivers this year up to this point and a lack of wide receivers for a certain point, getting guys used to it, you might have ended up having a dynamic pair of wide receivers for Patrick Mahomes for at least the next 4 years. You might have given yourself something, or 3 years, right? You might have given yourself something that you weren't anticipating because of how much you had to play them. And so that part really stands out to me because Xavier Worthy has looked better and better every single week. He's getting in the end zone more often. Yeah, he bobbles a throw here or there, but he's catching most things he's expected to catch. Still, and this is what's so weird about it. The only other thing that is that's without the deep ball. He runs like a 4.2 40, right? So the only question I would still have is, where's the occasional deep ball? Every week, we'll come in here and we'll say the same thing. Are they going to hit a 40, 50, 60-yarder to Xavier Worthy eventually? And I think that comes with once these receivers are up. Once Hollywood is fully comfortable, I think sometime in the next 2 weeks before the season, it might be week 1 of the playoffs because they might not play against Denver. But sometime in the next 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to see that pass finally get completed to Worthy because at some point, they're going to pick their poison, and the poison they pick might not be Xavier Worthy on a play. And he's going to be running downfield by himself, and Mahomes will finally make a good throw, and those things will be there. But on that touchdown drive that Xavier Worthy eventually caught the touchdown, they went to him 3 or 4 times on that drive alone. And that's the second time in 3 weeks where he's just had his drive. We're going to Worthy. Then we're going to Worthy again. Well, they're not obviously going to do anything in this drive to correct it, so here we do it again. And those things kind of go that way. From the 816, Rice Worthy equals Amon-Ra and Jamison Williams. That's fine. Those comparisons all seem to work the same. But again, I think that it's fairly clear that they're set up for the long haul with Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice at this point, other than the can you really technically pay 2 receivers at the same time? Right? Can you really accompany that? Over on the text line, we'd asked for gifts, if you're looking for last-minute ones, from the for your significant other, from the 620. I wish for a small telescope, maybe. Dobson mount, that's what they're looking for. There are all kinds of Harry Potter suggestions for you. You must not be the only wife with a Harry Potter fan.
Yeah, the 913 says the symphony is accompanying the original Harry Potter. I love that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a great gift.
I think that's an awesome
Buy a ticket to the
gift.
symphony. It's a built-in date night, too.
Exactly.
You make the gift extra nice if you arrange the childcare now.
Yeah.
We're going to this thing, and I already have somebody watching the children.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about a thing. Get dressed.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Get dressed up. We're going out, and we're having a good night, baby.
Someone says, if your wives are like mine, it won't matter what you get her, she won't like it. I don't know. My wife's hit or miss. I don't think she dislikes everything I get her. She always pretends like she likes it. My wife is definitely one of those, right? She's never seemed disappointed in a gift I've gotten. But I'm sure that sometimes that's just, being nice.
Yeah, probably. I mean, is it possible to, please your woman all the time? I don't think so. So you're going to have some misses.
Yeah, and that's okay.
And you're absolutely right. At least you have a good one that is thoughtful.
She's not making it seem, yeah, that's it. Trying is really all they're looking for here. 913, just got my wife nice robe, slippers, foot massager, and a 4th wedding band. One for each kid. That guy's, he's doing fine. He doesn't need to buy anything. He's in great shape. Some of this is for the people who, need those things. Someone says, Venu Spa, it's a Japanese spa place for couples or singles. If you're maybe a spa day for the wife. Lots of good suggestions over in the text line. Keep them coming. 913-586-7965. We got to get to a break. When we come back, we'll hear from the head coach, Andy Reid. Maybe a player or two, we'll see. Out there at Arrowhead before the Chiefs take on the Steelers in 2 days.
Cody and Gold.
And sleep well. I was drunk.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
This NFL Monday Night Football, FanDuel wants you to win even bigger. Right now, all customers can get a 30% catch-a-pass profit boost on the Saints-Packers game. That means you can boost your next NFL catch-a-pass bet by 30% and take home even more winnings during the game. Bet on over-unders, spreads, player props, and so much more. Plus, if you win, you'll get paid instantly. So don't wait. Download America's #1 sportsbook by visiting FanDuel.com/Alex to take advantage of a profit boost today. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Max wager amount applies. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-5795. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This Monday and Tuesday only at Old Navy stores. Sweaters are just $15 for adults and $12 for kids. Hurry in for last-minute gifts with sweaters at $15 for adults, $12 for kids. This Monday and Tuesday only at Old Navy. Valid 12/23 and 24 in stores and select styles only.
This holiday season, make Park and Go your go-to for airport parking.
With all covered parking, you'll return to a car that's safe from the snow and ice. The best part, Park and Go shuttle service is ready and waiting for you and your family the moment you park. No standing around in the cold. Fast, hassle-free, and open 24/7, Park and Go offers top-notch service at the lowest price. See why me and my family will only use Park and Go when we travel. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. From our family to yours, happy holidays from Park and Go.
When you have an expert financial partner invested in you, you can't help but feel like a star. Like the new graduate opening their first investment account, the small business owner proudly adding a new location, or the young couple buying their first home. At Community America, we're invested in helping members achieve financial peace of mind with products and services tailored to each stage of life. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
Hey, football fans! Time to step up your game with Johnny's Barbecue tailgate packages. Whether you're hosting a home game or tailgate, Johnny's Barbecue has you covered. We've been serving award-winning traditional KC barbecue since 1977. Johnny's Barbecue was featured on diners, drive-ins, and dives with legendary Guy Fieri. It's time you experience KC's hidden gem of barbecue. Check out our tailgate packages at johnny'sbbqkc.com. Located in Olathe and serving all of KC. Johnny's Barbecue, taste the smoke.
MD Anderson Cancer Center is again ranked #1 in the nation for cancer care by U.S. News & World Report's Best Hospitals rankings. Our physicians treat more types of cancers in a day than many see in their whole career. This unmatched depth of expertise, combined with our groundbreaking discoveries, gives our patients access to the most innovative treatment options. Learn more at mdanderson.org.
Are you playing roofer roulette? That's when you bet your roof and your home on the first random roofer to ring your doorbell. Why do that when JR & Company offers a free hail and wind report online at jrstormcheck.com?
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
What's up, KC? It's Hollywood Brown. Catch the play-by-play all season long with Mitch, Dana, and Clean right here on your home of Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City in Odyssey Sports Station.
Expected to hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes coming up in just a few moments. Waiting for them to start talking over there at Arrowhead. Also coming up in about 15 minutes, my guy Steven Serda will come join us in studio. Just now realizing that because of when we're in break, James, going to get him is going to be a challenge. So might have to send our boss, Steven Spector, who is here, mind you, down there to do it as well. Somebody did point out earlier when I said I called this Christmas Eve. Someone said, no, it's Christmas Adam. And then some other people had said, no, it's Festivus, which is the day in the episode of Seinfeld. Festivus was on December 23rd. But imagine if I did that as a First, Dana and Parks do that. They do that every Friday. That's a part of their show's breakdown. So I wouldn't take that general sentiment from their show over on our sister stations, KMBZ. But Could you imagine if I tried to open that up for sports radio? What the hell would you all complain about? The Chiefs are 14-1 and the back-to-back Super Bowl champions. I mean, you just couldn't do it. All right, we'll get to more of that in just a minute. Let's head out to Arrowhead. Andy Reid speaking to the media.
All right, so the guys that won't practice today are Connor, Humphreys, and Chris Jones. I'll make an improvement, but again, quick turnaround here, so we'll just keep evaluating them throughout here. Look forward to the challenge of playing Pittsburgh, good football team. Mike does a heck of a job there with his group, and he's got good coaches, good coordinators, and good players. So that's why they're doing well this year. And so again, our guys have had a good day yesterday, and we'll finish it up today with the second practice. So with that, time's yours.
Andy, you're used to these short turnarounds, but what was unique about the Saturday turnaround and going back and immediately studying film for Pittsburgh to get these guys ready for a short turnaround?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of what you've got to do. The coaches did a good job of spending some time before our game on Saturday looking at them. So we had a little bit of a jump start, but we did come back here and take a peek at them. So.
What are some characteristics of Mike Tomlin's teams? You guys don't play him all the time, but you've seen enough of him.
Yeah, I used to play him every year at least when I was in Philadelphia. His teams are tough. They're well coached, and they're going to play hard every snap. They're going to give you an honest down every snap. So you got to come in ready to go.
Andy, when you say you took a peek at him, did you come right here after the game Saturday?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Stayed a good while, I take it?
I've stayed a while.
Andy, how did Pat come through the game, ankle-wise?
Yeah, he did good. Yeah, it's sore, but he did well. Pretty tough kid, man. That was an amazing thing he did. So.
Andy, do you expect the starting lineup for the offensive line to remain the way it's been over the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'm going to just see how we finish up today, and then Nate just take it day by day here. We've got a couple days, and we'll see how it all rolls.
And it's the third straight team that you faced that puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback statistically. How do you think they held up against Houston? What's just the difficulty of this specific defensive line this week?
Yeah, well, I'd tell you, similar as the other groups. I mean, they do a nice job of rushing the passer, all of them. So it's not just the outside guys; it's those inside guys too. And so the offensive line's got another big challenge. I thought they fared up pretty good last week. Did a nice job for the most part. Have to do it again. But that's all part of this. They know that. They take that responsibility seriously and prepare themselves the right way.
How did you feel that Hollywood Brown did in your second look?
I thought he did a pretty good job. He didn't have a ton of snaps. We'll keep increasing that as we go. But I thought for the snaps he had, I thought he played pretty good football. Most of all, he got to take a hit. That's always when you have that upper body injury, just getting that first hit is a big thing.
Hey, Andy, Mike Tomlin said this week that Travis doesn't get enough credit for his unselfishness. I know a play like P. Ryan's maybe down the sideline, he helps free up. I guess, what do you think about the role that Travis has played this year and maybe some of the unselfish things that he's done?
Yeah, no, he does a great job with all that. Good team leader. That's why he's been voted a captain the last every years during the playoffs. So Mike's right on that. He'll sacrifice for the cause, as they'd say. And I'm not telling you he doesn't like to play and catch and do all that stuff. He loves that. But at the same time, he's willing to help out everywhere.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Okay, good.
That's head coach Andy Reid live out at Arrowhead. We'll go out to Patrick Mahomes here in just a moment. I thought, look, not a ton out of that, but him saying, we'll see on the offensive line. Because that's still a big question. This was one of their better performances. Juwan Taylor couldn't finish the game, which meant Wanye Morris played right tackle, not left. Joe Tooney is still playing left tackle. There was at least one sack in the previous game that I think was because they had a backup left guard in. and the miscommunication at the line that allowed a blitz through early on Mahomes, I still think the best version of their offensive line is DJ Humphries playing left tackle, Joe Thuney playing left guard, and Jawan Taylor, ideally healthy, playing right tackle. Like I have a hard time imagining, James, that that's not the ideal setup for the offensive line. But some part of it is if they continue to look better under Joe Thuney at left tackle, you start turning into the if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, and I know it's not perfect, but it's like, if it's competent at some point with Thuney, do you want to keep tinkering? Is that even the right decision?
Well, I've been fairly happy with what we've seen from Joe Thuney on the left tackle. The problem I have is I believe that there's been a dip in production in the run game because we don't have the middle three, Thuney, Humphrey, and Trey Smith dominating the inside of the offensive line. So is it worth it? I mean, if it's going to protect our $500 million man, then I think so. Yeah. But I'm just not happy. I'm not fully happy.
I just think if they wanted, like this whole time, if they were just going to turn it over to Thuney, they wouldn't have spent $4.5 million on Humphries. They still want the same thing. They still want DJ Humphries to be the starting left tackle because that is still the most successful version of them. But having taken no snaps with Patrick Mahomes and then just be in a playoff scenario also seems kind of crazy. Like DJ Humphries feels like he needs to take some snaps at left tackle at some point. And it never made any sense to me to rush him back by the Saturday game because they had to play again on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. I get it. But you get 10 days off after this. If he can't come in by the Denver game, well, then he's definitely not playing anymore. We're done here. Like, it's Joe Thuney's job, and it's, Caliendo's job at left guard, and we're all just kind of playing the same thing. We will head back out to Arrowhead here momentarily, hear from Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes as soon as he steps to the podium. But, yeah, I just don't get it. I was briefly saying, before Andy stepped up, somebody said, man, Chiefs fans are complaining. I'm like, are you serious? Like, if we did Festivus, the Royals made the postseason. They spent the most money ever on a contract. I guess Sporting, you want to complain about them? They weren't very good. Like, if you're a fan of every single local sports team, maybe some college programs? You could complain about Kansas or Missouri or K-State coming up short. But we'd run out of content pretty quick, I think, if we just turned this into Festivus just because it's December 23rd. We wouldn't make it very far. Sure. And certainly not during Chiefs content-based stuff, James, that's for sure.
Well, and the thing is you're absolutely right. You can't just look at all the positives. We can't just sit here and glaze on the Chiefs all day long. Our job is to look at all aspects of it and then find content.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I'm not here to say that I never came on here and looked at different stuff. I'm just saying that. From the 816, do you think Morris can be a better right tackle than left tackle? I think it's an easier position. But the NFL values them the same. And I still think it would be a problem if he had to do it long term. I think teams would pick on him the same way they pick on him now. They were fortunate enough that Danielle Hunter did not get through to Joe Thuney very often, and they were able to kind of hold that thing down. But if on the other end, it wouldn't necessarily work. You are listening to 96.5 The Fan, by the way, on KFNZ, FM, and AM, HD1 and HD2 in Kansas City. Again, we'll head out to Arrowhead in just a moment to hear from Patrick Mahomes, and I'll welcome in my guest, who's supposed to be here from noon to 2. We're going to hear from Patrick Mahomes in just a moment. Steven Serda, former producer of this show, current host of several podcasts. Do you subscribe to do you say podcast host? Do you say of certain shows?
No, I guess I don't really name them off usually. I just say Foolish Club Media because I do host lots of things, or I'm a co-host or whatever, and I also produce everything. So I have my hands in everything that we're doing over there.
So if you want to catch his work, Foolish Club Media, if this is the first time you've heard Serda since he's been back on the show at least two other times with me since you started that process.
Yeah, I've been in a couple of times.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
You came in for, I think when it was Club 610 at the time, now the Fan Club.
Yes.
Although I vowed to change that name in the new year. I still think the best name is The Buzz. Some people disagree. I think we already have some stuff in the building with that titling on it, which works.
Yeah, and you could kind of piggyback off the nostalgia of the former station number. I think that would actually work.
Yeah, I don't know what the complaint is. Even that, maybe Club 965 is better. Either way, the point is, Club Fantastic failed in like a week. We switched to the fan club, and I'm still lukewarm on it.
Did you put it to the text line, or was this a show decision?
No, it was like a text line thing, and then, like that one sounded good in the moment. It was like one of those rush decisions where you're like, I like Club Fantastic. And then once we tried to say it a couple times, we're like, this ain't going to work.
Yeah, it doesn't really roll off the tongue. I don't think. No. It's got to be quick, like we read the text line number off. It's just got to be natural.
Club 610, that was quick.
Sure, nobody thinks about it.
I think the one thing I'll give Alex credit for, so the fan club is the name we're currently working with. It sounds better when we're in here and he says Fan Club Friday.
Yes, that does. That. Nice. Why don't you just call it that? Because it's only on Fridays. Right? Yeah. Okay.
That's got a better vibe to it.
And then you can just, if you do it on a Wednesday or whatever, Fan Club Wednesday, which doesn't sound as good, but that definitely rolls better.
Yeah, Fan Club Friday?
Yes.
Yeah, it does. I'm not going to disagree. Are your headphones not working very well?
Not really.
I'm
navigating it right now, but I think the adapter is not working great.
While we adjust that, give me your quick opinion on whether or not you think they'll go back to DJ Humphries.
So right now, I don't think there's any reason for it. Joe Thuney has been good enough. Mike Caliendo has been good enough, and honestly, I think the case could be made that Joe Thuney has given you the best left tackle play that you've seen all season. Now, I understand for the run game, you probably want Thuney on the inside, but it would make a lot more sense to just be like, hey, our offense looks as functional as it has looked in maybe a calendar year over the last couple of games. So maybe we just don't mess up that momentum and we let it ride out. And I'd be totally fine with them leaving Joe Thuney there. They rushed DJ Humphries in and then got him injured because he didn't have that grace period that they initially said. And so it's like, what are you really losing by having Caliendo at guard? Because so far it hasn't been much of anything.
I would say the one thing you definitively lose is the run game aspect of it, like you had mentioned. They are not as dynamic of a running team as they were before. And there are some defenses in the NFL that are easier to take advantage of in that department. Like, look at the Steelers. They just got diced up by the Ravens in, the run game. They gave up the world to Derrick Henry. The Steelers haven't been perfect, or the Ravens haven't been perfect in that department. They're playing significantly better defense. I'd say some of the teams in the AFC's weakness is their ability to stop the run, and you are not nearly as good there. Plus, you paid him $4.5 million. Yeah. I assume you never wanted to go to Thuney at left tackle if you didn't have to.
Yeah, but then my question would be, does Andy Reid even care about that at all? Because in these matchups against the Carolina Panthers, worst run defense in the NFL, Raiders, one of the worst run defenses in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns over the back half of the season have been one of the worst run defenses in the NFL, and Andy isn't interested in running the football. So, and even last week, against the Texans, you come into that game, an injured Patrick Mahomes, the offensive line issues, whatever, and you assume, okay, they should lean into the run. This should be the week, right? This should be the week where they really try to lean into that. Even though the Texans have a good run defense, we've seen Andy Reid dial things up in the run game to find success no matter who they're playing before. And nope, came out of the gate even with a hobbled Patrick Mahomes just slinging the football. Now, it was short, it was quick throws, it was helping the offensive line out. But I think they're better at that than they are running the football. So I don't think that you're actually losing anything offensively. This is probably the best version of the Chiefs offense that we're going to get this season, especially as they work Hollywood Brown back into the mix.
All right, we'll get back to that in just a second. Let's head back out to Arrowhead. Let's hear from Patrick Mahomes.
Fire away. Patrick, how do you feel now after coming through physically? You felt pretty good after the game, but how's it now?
Yeah, no, I feel good. I mean, obviously, we haven't done a ton as far as getting out there on the practice field. We've done some walkthrough, actually 2 walkthroughs now, and I feel like I can move around and do what I need to do. And now we'll get to a little bit faster paced practice and see where I'm truly at. But I thought all in all, I came out pretty well.
Do you feel like you'll be in a better place for this game than maybe you were for the Houston game, or is this just something you're going to deal with until the season's over?
I think I'll be in a better place ankle-wise. I mean, obviously the body's going to be sore just with the short week and everything like that. But I think the ankle should be in a better place. I mean, obviously we'll see at practice today. But as far as how I felt after this game, compared to the one before, I'm definitely in a lot better place.
Patrick, over the years, just a preparation for these short turnaround games, how's this been for you and just getting everybody in tune? Do you do a little pre-preparation even before the previous game against Houston, like Danny was coming over here to the facility right after? How do you guys prepare for that?
No, I didn't do any of the preparation before. You have to focus on those teams that you're playing. I mean, Houston's a great football team, and we needed all hands on deck for that. But right after I left the building, I was already getting pictures and videos sent to me from the coaches, and I got to open some presents with my family. And then right when they went home, I was already on to Pittsburgh, and this is a great defense. And so for us, we're going to have to play our best football to beat this team, and it's going to take everybody's best. So I'll try to get as much information as I can in before we get on that plane.
You already handled Christmas early with the shopping and the presents and everything.
Yeah, Santa hasn't came yet, but as far as my family, we traded gifts, and my kids. Brittany's a champ because I'm not there to help build the toys all my family got, and the kids have opened up every single one of them.
How do players handle that? Because you've done it now a few times of playing on Christmas Day. I mean, how do you get in the mental mindset of, not being there with family on an exciting day and knowing that in this case you got to go on the road on Christmas Day?
I think with just being the short week and how this has kind of worked out, you don't even realize how close you are to Christmas, other than when you go home and there's presents under the tree. So I think we're really just all hands on deck, super focused on Pittsburgh and understanding how great of a challenge it's going to be, and then get on the flight and fly in there so it'll feel like a regular game. And hopefully we go out there and get a win, and you can come home, have a few extra days to celebrate Christmas with the family, if that's going home or in Kansas City.
Coach Nagy has kind of said that Xavier Worthy is really hitting his stride. What does it mean from a quarterback's perspective when you get that while getting Hollywood Brown back at the same time?
Yeah, I think you're starting to see kind of what this offense was meant to be. Obviously, we don't have Rasheed out there, but having some other guys we've added to try to fill that role as best as we can. You can see where we thought we were going to be at the beginning of the year, and obviously we have to ramp it up fast against some really good teams. But I thought it was a great start having Hollywood out there for a limited number of snaps and him making an impact on the game, and Xavier and everybody. And so that was a good defense we went up against. It'll be another challenge this week. Can we build on that and build some momentum into the playoffs?
Was there a particular excitement to play on Christmas Day to find out that you guys were playing on Christmas Day this year?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely exciting until I realized it was on Wednesday. I think it is really cool playing the first Netflix game, playing on Christmas Day in front of the whole nation. I mean, it's an honor, and so we'll go out there trying to do what we can to not have the same experience we had last Christmas. But like I said, it's a great football team, and it'll be a great challenge for us.
Did last year factor into the excitement of getting another chance to play on Christmas?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was not just a loss. That was a pretty embarrassing loss, and everybody was watching because it's Christmas Day, and so obviously it sparked us to win the Super Bowl, so it ended up working out. But you want to make sure that you go out there and put up a better performance for everybody to see.
Patrick, you guys lock up the 1 seed. You guys talk about that all, knowing now that it can happen on Wednesday?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you talk about it, but everybody knows. I mean, it's you want to get that 1 seed to get that bye, so that you're basically winning a playoff game by getting the 1 seed. And so you get that, and you'll have home field advantage as well at Arrowhead, which we feel like is a huge advantage for us. And you can't put all your attention to it. All you can do is go out there and play football and know that we're going to play a great football team, and it's going to take our best football to win.
We're going to go last to Blair and Todd.
Patrick, it's only your second regular season trip to Pittsburgh. I want to know what you remember about your first one.
I mean, it's a great environment. I think that's the best thing about it. It's one of those true football stadiums, just kind of like Arrowhead, where you know the history of everybody that's played in this stadium and the history of this franchise, and it's pretty cool. It's right on the river, everything like that, and so it's gonna be rowdy. The fans will be out there. It'll be a great challenge for us, and it's gonna feel as much like playoff football as you can possibly get.
Patrick, Joe's played left tackle a couple of times now. Is he getting more comfortable there? What do you think of that? And then when you went back and watched, when you won, you got forced to jump in at right tackle. How did he do?
I thought the whole offensive line did a great job, and that's a really good defense, a really good pass rush especially. And I thought Joe did a great job. I mean, it's remarkable what he can do at every single position on the offensive line, and he doesn't have a huge personality outside of the building. He does in the building, but outside of the building, and so people don't really recognize how special a football player he is. And he did it in New England, and he's done it here for a lot of Super Bowl football teams. And it's it truly is a credit to him and the work ethic he puts in every single day. And I hope he starts getting the recognition, other than the All-Pros he gets recognition outside of that, that he truly deserves.
You guys don't do a lot of talking. There was some talking out of Houston last week. Did you feel that your offensive line was ready for that challenge, just with more than just the tape, but the words and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. There was nothing said inside the building, but I'm sure those guys saw it, and they're competitors just like I am, and so they wanted to prove that who they were and who they can be, and I thought they did a great job of that, and hopefully we can build on that throughout these last few games and into the playoffs, and it all starts up there. If our offensive line is rolling, we're rolling, and that'll be the difference on us if we want to win that Super Bowl.
Thanks, Patrick.
That was Patrick Mahomes live from Arrowhead talking about the upcoming game on Wednesday. I know that it seems like we're like a broken record on this. The Chiefs did get screwed on this. If they make it through it, it's fine. They're 2-0 in the 3 games in 11 days. 2-1 we would have all accepted, so even if they lose on Wednesday, it's not like burn it all down. But if they go 3-0 and then they get 10 days rest, and then after that they don't have to play for another 2 weeks, which means they can essentially take a month off of football, well, then they've managed it. But the NFL didn't have to do them like this. The NFL could have just given them a late bye, or I don't know, not make people play on a Wednesday on Christmas just because Netflix handed you the bag.
That's what's most ridiculous about this is that they really got screwed with the early season bye. The Texans didn't have an early season bye.
Neither did the Ravens and neither did the Bills.
Yeah, they still have these short turnaround games. So why are the Chiefs the ones that had a week 5 bye this season, even though that was the earliest bye they had in a decade? And now you're banged up with Patrick Mahomes. Your offensive line is banged up. Chris Jones
in practice.
And I wouldn't play Chris Jones in this game. I wouldn't even consider it. But
not worth it.
I know the Chiefs don't think the way that I do. And if he's got a chance to go, they're going to give him an opportunity to go. But he matters so much more for the postseason chances than he does right now. Yeah, you want to win this game and lock it up to ensure that you get rest, but give Chris Jones time to get healthy because he's the only guy that really matters on the defense outside of McDuffie.
McDuffie, 2 picks in a row, too. That was always going to be the story, right? He was going to wait almost 3 full damn years to get a single interception as an all-pro corner. He gets one finally looking up at the Jumbotron on Jameis Winston, and then the very next week gets another one? Yeah, that makes sense. Least surprising.
Well, who would have thought when you put pressure on a quarterback, you could actually generate turnovers that way? So when they went about 8 weeks not putting pressure on quarterbacks, they didn't force any turnovers. Now all of a sudden they're putting pressure on quarterbacks again. They're getting turnovers, and the secondary looks a little bit better because they're getting help from the guys up front.
8 turnovers in the last 2 games? And they had 10 the rest of the season?
It is a weird trend with their defense, too, though. This is just a thing with Steve Spagnuolo's defense with the Chiefs. They never generate a ton of turnovers. They're never, near the top of the league in turnovers, but they've had a lot of success with the sacks, and so it kind of mitigates some of that stuff.
Yeah, I guess that, the Chiefs' defense is... It's weird to me, because I know why they piss me off. I'm very aware of what it is, and it's because... They don't get enough pressure, but also, they're bad on 3rd and long. And so a defense always feels at its worst when they're like, hey, man, it was 3rd and 13, and Tank Dell got 16 yards and didn't even try. Yeah. Were you attempting to play defense on this play? But I don't think people probably realize where the Chiefs rank. After the game in which they let up 19 against the Texans, the Chiefs are 0.2 points away from being the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL. They currently rank 3rd. They are the 3rd best defense in the league. But I am annoyed by them a lot. And I should probably just let it go because it's the bend don't break doesn't feel like a way to live. And I feel like I heard Bob Sutton say that a lot at the end of his tenure. So I'm just salty about the way that sounds because it didn't end well. He started breaking all the time at the end of that scenario. But they're one of the best defenses in the league. So I should probably just let the sometimes you don't look good portion of it go.
Yeah, well, I just feel like you have to do that with the Chiefs in general. And that's something people get frustrated with me about because it comes off as criticism, and sometimes it's well-deserved criticism, but this team has a higher standard than every other team in the NFL. Yeah. And so when they play subpar, it's okay to criticize the decision-making, just like it was okay to criticize Andy Reid for seemingly getting Patrick Mahomes injured. Like, that game plan is what got him injured against the Cleveland Browns. So
Never understand going for that foot
they're
down.
not above criticism, but that doesn't mean that I don't acknowledge how excellent they are and why they continue to win these football games, even though half the time they're ugly and not the most entertaining things. The version we got against them, against the Texans, most fun I've had all year watching a Chiefs game.
That's the best they've looked all year.
I will take that the rest of the way. I am perfectly fine with that. I just want, competent, mistake-free football. It doesn't have to be a 45-point win or something like that. Just look functional. And they finally look functional. And so I'm really excited moving forward about the shape of things on offense, especially for the Chiefs.
So on offense, that was definitely the most competent they looked. It's funny because they didn't put up 35. But they completed four passes or more to four different receivers.
Yeah.
Hollywood Brown looks like he's been playing with Patrick Mahomes all season. Xavier Worthy's gotten a lot better. And then what we were talking about to open the show, which still makes no sense to me, there shouldn't be anything in medical science to suggest this to be the case. Patrick Mahomes is better with an injured ankle than with a healthy one. What evidence do you have to support the other side of it? He is a better football player when he has a high ankle sprain than when he doesn't. All the evidence, statistical evidence, would be on my side here.
It's just, the logic is just baller's ball. When the chips are down, your back's against the wall, who's the guy that's going to go do it? And Patrick Mahomes is the guy that always goes and does it.
I compared it to the old tale of a mother lifting a car because her kid's trapped under it. It's he just finds strength you didn't even know existed inside his body when he's being questioned with this ankle injury. Oh, so you think I can't do this? He plays better with a hurt ankle. It's crazy. I'm so mad at myself. I didn't bet him to have a rushing touchdown in that game. In retrospect, the easiest of bets.
Yeah.
I should have known that was going to happen.
Yeah. It's bum ankle. You can guarantee he's going to rip off a 25-yard run. That's just absolutely going to happen because then the defense thinks, oh, he's hobbled. He can't move around. And he's just nope, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to pick up a critical first down at a critical moment in the game. And then I'm going to get up wincing and limping afterwards just to make you feel worse about it.
Yeah. Oh, no. All I did was run 20 yards right through the heart of your defense. Could have gone down at the 5.
And the Houston Texans
3.
player who was talking trash is just left in the dust.
Yeah, of course it was him. He likes, I don't know if it's a sadist. He likes embarrassing people. I think it brings him some joy to take the people who doubt him in some way or take the people who have questioned him in some way and then destroy them. And look, I see the text line asking about the defense, just hey, did the defense get bailed out by Tank Dell getting injured? They had no answer for him. I would just say he had 6 for 100 yards or so and a touchdown. And that was a great pass from Stroud. And I still don't understand how Tank Dell can hold on to a football when someone is putting his knee in shreds.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, maybe they score again with Tank Dell, but it's not like they're weaponless without Tank Dell.
Yeah.
Tank Dell's consistently been their third wide receiver option this year.
And the Chiefs have been better in the second half, defensively, just really over the course of the season. They
career under Spags, really.
Yeah, they tend to clean things up. And that was also the best game of Tank Dell's season. Tank Dell has not had a very good year, and neither of the Houston Texans outside of Nico Collins being an absolute alien when he's on the field. That was a pretty impressive performance. I know Tank Dell had a monster first half, but hey, that happens sometimes when you have this kind of cobbled together secondary that the Chiefs do right now. I've still been really impressed with the way they played over the last few weeks.
I still give this will be, and I had asked and nobody seemed interested, sadly. I had suggested that we buy him I wanted to make him a real bronze bust. I got a quote. I get it done for $10,500.
10,500?
Yeah.
That's higher than I would have thought.
I wanted him. Well, I didn't want it to look like Dwayne Wade's.
I feel like you settle for that in your situation.
I didn't want it looking like his. I wanted it to look like Spags. Plus, I had requested that it have the laser eyes. Not actual lasers, but I wanted some sort of red gemstone or something for the eyes.
Just the plastic ones you buy at the craft store.
That'd be fine. Although it seems silly if you're having a real bronze made to then buy craft store googly eyes, essentially. to go on there because the job he's done, this is where Andy, this is a stupid thing. Well, not a stupid thing. It's a small thing that I don't think people probably appreciate about the coaches who are the best at what they do. Andy Reid is one of the single greatest coaches of all time. You can make an argument. He is the single greatest coach of all time. And now he's going to make it easier to make that argument if he three-peats and Bill Belichick is now just coaching at North Carolina. So, he's going to pass Bill. He's only 4 or 5 wins away for all-time postseason wins. He's still 4 Super Bowls back. But if you get that number close, people will just forgive the fact that he had Tom Brady the entire time and you didn't.
Yeah.
Had Patrick Mahomes the entire time. So, he'll have a strong argument. When he finds a guy who can do the job and just lets it go, delegating is an important skill. So it was Jim Johnson all those years in Philadelphia. Jim Johnson was a great defensive coordinator, and he had him for a decade. And he's like, do you think, Jim? Seems cool with me. And now it's Spagnuolo, and he's just like, yeah, that's fine. I'll let him do his job. And Spags is the best defensive coordinator in NFL history. I mean, at this point, is there an argument outside of he's the winningest defensive coordinator in NFL history?
Yeah. And there's a couple other guys that like older football fans would probably be like, oh, what about Wade Phillips or something like that? But yeah, I think the amount of Super Bowls that he's won, the amount of different defenses that he's excelled with and put together, like last season's Chiefs defense is the greatest Chiefs defense that we've ever seen. And I don't know if we'll ever see a Chiefs defense as special as that one was. And it was Steve Spagnuolo at the height of his powers where it's so rare in the NFL to have the perfect personnel lineup to do exactly what you want. And you see so many coaches, and Spags does this at times too, struggle to make adjustments because they want to run things how they want to run things, whether they have the right personnel or not. And they're like, just get better. Just get better.
Just play. This is what I want you to do.
Yeah. And sometimes you simply don't have the guys that are capable of doing that. And we're seeing a little bit of those growing pains this season, but the Chiefs are making some adjustments on that side of the ball. But last season, it was just the perfect storm of personnel to run this insanely complicated Steve Spagnuolo defense. And somehow the Chiefs defense was still underrated and not talked about. Everybody was raving about this Ravens defense. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting here screaming to the heavens like, this Chiefs defense is better. They're the best defense in the NFL. This is one of the best defenses I've ever seen. And they were incredible. They're never going to go on a run like that defensively ever again.
No,
probably.
and they're still a top 5 defense in the NFL scoring-wise this year. And that's with a depleted secondary, missing their second best pass rusher for, 70% of the season, and then players just not developing, right? Like guys like Felix Anudike-Uzomah, unable to help you, or Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams still being very limited players, and Watson then getting hurt in those limitations. I always point out this thing about Jalen. It's like they weren't even sure they wanted him to win the job.
Yeah.
I think they honestly wanted Najee Johnson to win, and they're like, hey, he didn't win it, though. So
yeah.
Come on in, Jalen Watson. And then he got hurt, and you just had to go through this whole evolution again where you're guessing who your second or third best corners are, and it's not an easy task. And then Minihue came back, and they got instantly better.
And I still don't understand what was going on with Joshua Williams mid-season. I understand Joshua Williams can be a frustrating player, but for every boneheaded play, he still makes solid plays. And every metric when he played a lot last season would suggest that he is a serviceable player in a way that Najee Johnson has simply never shown in an NFL regular season. And then Jalen Watson getting injured, it's if he stays healthy, I feel like we're having a different conversation about this Chiefs defense. But that's how the NFL goes. When you play as much football as the Chiefs have over the last several years, this is the first time they've really just been totally fallen apart from injuries. And they've weathered all of that to the point where they have the best record in the Patrick Mahomes era through this many games.
It's kind of stupid, honestly. If you list all the things that went wrong for them injury-wise this season. So they lost their number 1 wide receiver and their number 2 wide receiver. Number 2 guy just came back. It's week 16? 15?
Yeah. Okay, you got to figure that out before the playoffs.
So they lost their number 2 wide receiver for 15 weeks. They lost their number 1 wide receiver. They had him for 2 weeks. And then their own quarterback took him out on a play. So they lost their number 1, number 2 wide receivers. They didn't have their number 2 pass rusher for 80%, 70% of the season. They lost their number 2 corner, They have had a lot go wrong. They lost their starting kicker for a month. I don't care what you want to look at. They've lost safety. They've lost everybody at some point this year. They've had missing parts all over the defense, all over the offense. And they are 14-1 with the best record. Now, I will say one thing I think that is happening on that is that we have probably undersold just how many bad teams are in the NFL this year. Do you know how bad the bottom third of the NFL is here?
It's a lot of 3-win teams.
There's a reason. There's a reason
NFL.
why there are so many 12 to 14 win teams in the NFL. Why the Vikings and the Lions and the Chiefs, everybody, they all get lumped in. Why are there so many teams that are like 12, 13, 14 wins? The bottom third of the NFL is awful.
Yes.
I mean, it is genuinely awful. It is real. There is no middle class in the NFL this year. You're either a playoff team or you stink.
And the middle class is like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons,
Or Cincinnati, I guess, in this case. Now.
Yeah. And it's just, it's really hard to succeed in the NFL in any era, but especially now where you have so many alien athletes on the football field at any given time. Like, why do you think that we're regularly, year after year now, seeing so many teams struggle to put together competent offensive lines? Like, there's just not
offensive linemen.
Yeah, there's just not enough bodies. There's just not enough people that are made that way in the universe to compete in the modern day NFL. And that's why offensive line play is so garbage every year.
If they are, they just play like a really good power forward and don't ever put on all the weight.
Yeah.
You know,
Joe Thuney is a small offensive lineman. He's quick as hell. And he does not look like he is pushing 300 pounds anymore, by the way. He wins with his athleticism, and it's a testament
and technique.
And it's a testament to how incredible Joe Thuney is, that he can slide to left tackle and there's not that much drop off.
No, it speaks a lot to it, but they've weathered a lot this year, and they're still one win or one Bills loss away from being the number one seed. Let's take a break. Let's talk about the Steelers game coming on Wednesday. This is my only show this week, so it's my only chance to talk about the Steelers game. Let's talk about what we expect out of that game somehow 2 days from now. I swear to God, I just watched the Chiefs play like 5 seconds ago, but let's talk about what to expect out of that Steelers game next.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we are improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up a dub. Not only can you bet on who will win the game, but FanDuel also has bets for which players will score a touchdown, how many points each team will score, and so much more. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to join today. This way, you'll be all set for the biggest games of the year. That's FanDuel.com/Alex for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan.
21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bet. Expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Looking for a career that soars above the rest? Join the Missouri Air National Guard St. Joseph. Serve your community and country while gaining cutting-edge training, tuition assistance, and bonuses up to $50,000. From engineering and aviation to cybersecurity and healthcare, there's a place for you. Work part-time, earn full-time benefits, and build a future you can be proud of. Be more, do more. Join something bigger. Start your journey with the Missouri Air National Guard in St. Joseph. Go to ang.com/MO.
At Shane Company, we want you to be the holiday hero. We have so many ways to create unique, fine jewelry gifts. Give a ring or necklace with their favorite gemstone like amethyst or peachy morganite, one to match their eyes, or even pick out their favorite team colors. Customize our North Star charm with the gemstone of your choice for a reminder to follow their own path. Or create a personalized piece with zodiac, birthstone, and diamond letter charms. Visit us in store and shop online at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey, it's Karen with Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Ready to replace that roof? We have flexible financing options, 12 months same as cash, and don't make a payment for 90 days. And that's just one of many options we offer. Get on the schedule now with our in-house Consumer Credit Center. One call does it all for flexible payment options, affordability, and peace of mind. Visit shamrockroofer.com. That's shamrockroofer.com or call 1-866-932-3545 today.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on SingleCare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to SingleCare.com or download the free app today.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-770-2727. 800-770-2727.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group. Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime forcing, layoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
It's football season, and now you can get anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. You can't get a running back, but baby back ribs? Yes. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Brought to you by the Kansas City Symphony.
Your Kansas City Symphony brings your favorite Disney animated film scores to life. Songs from Cinderella, The Little Mermaid, The Lion King, and more. While clips from these timeless films are shown on the big screen at the Kaufman Center, January 10th through 12th. Tickets at kcsymphony.org.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back in here on Cody and Gold. Cody Tapp with you. Steven Serda with you. James Howell on the other side of the glass. We got another 90 minutes before we hand things off in the drive. I think Carrington's here. I didn't actually look. James, you see Carrington around? I saw Rob.
I did see Rob. Said hi to Rob before I came in.
So 50-50 shot, I guess. I mean, Carrington, like, funny enough, we joke about all the kind of people, like, most of us take time off around the holidays. Carrington's the opposite. He'll be off on, like, some Wednesday in April. And I'm like, well, this day makes no sense. Who the hell's... And just the one day. Not, like, several consecutive days. Just off, like, a Wednesday, April 29th. And you're like, that's a weird one, but okay.
Yeah.
But Christmas week, Carrington will be here the whole time. It'll be like Christmas Day at noon, just, like, doing radio for no reason.
It's... I can respect it. I can respect the grind, but also you should maximize the PTO around the holidays. Take those days off and get your rest time.
Yeah, they're already built-in days off, so you can do that outside of that. Here, I'll give the rundown. People always ask, what do you do for the holidays? You want to know us a little bit? Here's how the layout for the Tab family goes, or just me personally, over the next 3 days. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. We always spend that at my wife's family. It is a Mexican feast every year, so we will have tamales from San Antonio Market, chicken from El Pollo Rey, and my mother-in-law makes enchiladas.
Nice. Sounds delicious.
Usually some whiskey or beer or something consumed. Some sort of light alcoholic fare. Anymore, Christmas Day is just Christmas at my house with my kids. And then dead serious, we go to Kelly's. And you're like, wait. I've tried to go to Kelly's on Christmas. They're not open. They aren't to the public. But the Kelly's family, who I've gotten very friendly with, lets us come kick it sometime. So
not open for the peasants on Christmas Day.
So I end up at Kelly's on Christmas, despite the fact they're not open. And then the day after Christmas, for the first time, I'm hosting my family on Christmas.
So can't drink too much at Kelly's.
Well, we'll see. I get a lot of that work done ahead of time. So we'll see how that goes. I've never actually hosted my family for Christmas. I have settled in on turkey and brisket as the meats. And then potluck. I'll just make everybody else bring like something. I'll make mac and cheese and some veggies, and then everybody else can bring one thing to contribute.
Yeah, sounds like a solid Christmas.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. How about you?
I got a lot going on. So I'm actually going to fill in for you guys on Thursday from 10 to 2.
So there's your Thursday. It's different than mine.
So that's an announcement. I will be here with my guy James, I believe. We'll be here on Thursday filling in for Cody and Gold. But tomorrow I've got a really busy day trying to get ahead for the Chiefs game. Then we are going to my girlfriend's father's house for Christmas Eve dinner.
Okay.
And then we go to her mom's house.
That same night?
Yes. Because they love each other very much, and they like spending time around each other during the holidays, which is a little bit different than my family time.
I was going to say, if you preface it that way, I know your family dynamic was different.
Yes.
Like, oh, you guys like each other?
So then we go to her mom's house, and family comes over, and we all kind of hang out, and everybody like stays the night there to wake up on Christmas morning and share that together. Very, very heartwarming holiday tradition.
They still hang. They spend the whole night?
Yeah.
What's the sleeping arrangement? Inflatable bed?
They have a very nice home. And as far as I know, enough bedrooms to accommodate anyone that is going to stay there. But I'll find out the sleeping arrangement tomorrow sometime.
I didn't know if you were like on a couch or an inflatable bed or if you got a real bed.
Yeah.
You're signed up either way.
Yeah.
Is breakfast provided Christmas morning?
Yes, I would assume so. And I went to Colorado with them a month or 6 weeks or so ago, and I actually made dinner for everyone, for like 12 people by myself. Well, I had some help, but I prepared dinner for everyone. So I have cooked and would offer to cook, but they said they got all that taken care of. So I don't have to do any of that. And then Christmas Day, lots of family time, hanging out, doing stuff. We're going to have to try to find time to watch the Chiefs game because I got a post-game show to host for Foolish Club. And then after that, I have that Thursday filling in here. And then Friday is also my girlfriend's birthday. So Christmas week is very full for me. Got a lot going on this week.
Do you have it all purchased? Do you have both a birthday present and a Christmas present purchased?
Oh, for her, yes. She is taken care of, thankfully. I was on top of that. The one gift might be delayed that I'm a little bit annoyed about, but I don't want to talk about it because I'm going to get frustrated. But I do. Immediately when I leave here, I have to go run and buy a couple of more Christmas presents because I just haven't had time to do it. So I'm going to try to get that done before tomorrow gets hectic with family schedules and things like that.
Yeah, it sounds like I like how everything you have to do is with. You didn't mention your family at all.
Yeah. So I am going to spend some time with my family on Saturday, I think. But it's because, like, people are out of town, and so they're coming in late to kind of, they just wanted to skip the Christmas craze because everybody's got so many things going on. So they're coming in, like, late in the weekend. So I'll figure all that out later in the week. I've got too much other stuff going on.
My family's moved off of straight Christmas. We used to do stuff on Christmas and just off Christmas. But if I'm going to try to pretend like we're the most functional family, that would be lying to the audience. I think we have the normal amount of dysfunction, I think, based on most family dynamics.
Yeah. Like, I don't have... I love my family. We're fine. Like, we do well. We spend time together when we have time. But the holidays haven't always been like, we have to get together and spend time together.
That's fair. We find a day. Let's talk a little bit about Chiefs Steelers coming up on Wednesday. Then we'll get to a random question of the day coming up in about 10 minutes or so. I'll be honest, I feared the Steelers game a lot more before I watched the Ravens dismantle them. I don't want to let one game completely color my opinion of a team because that's not really, especially a division game, and I think division games a lot of times are not truth tellers, even when they're blowouts or even when they're close. Like, I don't think that Patriots-Bills game is a truth teller. I don't necessarily think that this just means that they're lost. But they have faced a good team 2 times in a row. At Philadelphia and at Baltimore. And they have gotten their teeth kicked in by the opponents. They are showing signs of defensive complete liability. Here's the number of points they've given up over the last month in December. 38 in a win, but 38, only 14 to Cleveland, 27 and 34. They're giving up 30 points a game this month. TJ Watt is a shell of himself. I don't think that they have any weapons that they like. Russell Wilson has thrown for 158, 128, and 217 yards. They have no running game. I don't like their offensive weapons. I just don't think they're a serious team. That's what it is. I think they are mediocre in the most mediocre way. They will not win a playoff game. They will make the playoffs because Mike Tomlin's great, but they won't win a playoff game. So can they beat the Chiefs on Christmas? Yeah, sure, I guess. But do I fear them as an actual competition? No. My only fear is that they're going to stand in the way of you trying to get a 1 seed.
Yeah. I think the Steelers are a talented team, but like everything you said about them is accurate. This offense has fallen apart without George Pickens in the lineup. Like George Pickens.
And he might play on Wednesday.
Yeah. And Mike Tomlin did say that they're hopeful he'll be able to play after suffering a hamstring injury in practice that's had him out the last couple of weeks. But they just don't have anybody else offensively that you really fear. Like, I guess Pat Freiermuth might be a good matchup for the Chiefs because the Chiefs have been awful against tight ends.
I've just been betting the over on every tight end, and it seems to be working. Worked for Dalton Schultz last week.
Yeah, the Steelers' offensive line isn't particularly great. And yeah, when TJ Watt and those guys aren't winning up front and when they aren't creating turnovers, then their secondary is a little bit of a liability. I'd not expect their run defense to be the liability that it has been recently, but in their secondary, outside of Joey Porter Jr., they've got a lot of holes across the board there. And so I think the Steelers are better. Like, they're obviously better this season than they have been the past few years with Kenny Pickett, where it's like they grind their way to a 500 season.
And you just don't like any part of the way they play.
And maybe still be a 7 seed or something like that in the playoffs. Like, they're certainly better than that this year. But in terms of the AFC powerhouses, it's the Chiefs, it's the Bills, it's the Ravens. And I think the Steelers are on the outside looking in of that club pretty handedly.
Where are we on the Ravens, by the way? Like, I don't like, because we're talking about the Steelers game on Wednesday. All the metrics offensively would suggest that the Ravens are a juggernaut. Although every team who's been this good on offense in the NFL has never won the Super Bowl. Because in my opinion, this is like the 2017, 2018 Chiefs, which is if your offense is this good, it usually means your defense is really bad. Like you are obligated to score. But over the last 3 games, Baltimore's defense has actually been pretty good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I should be re-entering them into the conversation with Chiefs and Bills. Where I had put them in tier 2, maybe by their lonesome. It was like Chiefs, Bills, tier 1, tier 2, Ravens, And then 3 and below is all the teams that will be in the playoffs that I don't care about.
Yeah, I think the Ravens are still a very, very good football team. And we do see some regular season inconsistencies with them kind of every year.
And they're always worse in the postseason.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson is historically a worse quarterback in the postseason.
Yeah, and that's when you get the best stuff from everybody. You get these game plans that they've been tweaking and working on all season long, and you're not holding anything back. And traditionally, Lamar Jackson has struggled in those scenarios. Their defense has been playing better lately, but I still don't think their defense is a defense that you have to fear, because through the first 10 weeks of the season, their secondary is one of the worst secondaries in the NFL. It's
really bad.
It's gotten a little bit better, but I think in part when you look at the matchups, it's like, okay, Steelers without George Pickens, they can't really throw the ball without George Pickens because he's their only viable weapon in the passing game. The Giants, yeah, please, come on. I don't even remember if it was Tim Boyle or Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito in that game.
I don't remember.
And they dropped that game to the Eagles, but it's like the Eagles are a run team. Like, the Eagles aren't a pass-first team, and they want to run the football, and Jalen Hurts has some limitations as a passer. So you kind of get a pass there with your secondary, and then, and the Chargers' performance was a strong performance. I would argue the best, but again, the Chargers have like Lad McConkey and nobody else in the passing game. So I think the matchups have favored the Ravens, but I think once they go against the best teams, you're still going to see that secondary struggle, and they don't have any elite pass rushers. Like, their defensive line is very mediocre this season. So I think as a whole, they're being carried right now by Lamar Jackson playing the best football that he's played in his entire career.
Yeah, well, and we're seeing, honest to God, maybe we will, and we'll see, but that might just be the theme of the AFC this year.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is also carrying the Bills across the finish line for a huge chunk of this year.
Yeah.
And I would say there was a middle section that Patrick Mahomes, at least recently probably too, that he's been doing that as well for his team. And so, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, that might just be the theme of the AFC this year, is that these teams are flawed, and it's may the best quarterback win. And in that scenario, gotta be honest, I kind of lean towards this. The best competition for the Chiefs is all in the NFC.
Yeah.
And every time that the Super Bowl goes like that, it goes fine for Kansas City. Because they get in the game and they're like a 3-point underdog to the Eagles, who were the best team all year, or the Niners, who were the best team all year, who seem like they would match up great against Kansas City. And then it gets push comes to shove time in a Super Bowl game in which the game's back and forth and who's going to win it, and then Mahomes wins it. Like, the Lions are the second best team in the league. I would argue the Eagles are the third best team in the league. And they almost, I understand they just lost to the Commanders. Jalen Hurts didn't play 3/4 of that game.
Yeah.
Not that the backup didn't play well. They obviously scored plenty of points against the Commanders.
It's still Kenny Pickett. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I still think the Lions are the team to fear in the NFC, but they obviously have their own problems on defense. Like, they're absolutely decimated by injury, but the Bills, it's a similar situation where, and defensively, we kind of see this every season from Buffalo, where every year we talk about Buffalo, they're starting out the season as this powerhouse. DVOA has them rated as like one of the highest charted DVOA teams that we've ever seen. And Buffalo is incredible at beating up on bad teams, especially early in the year.
The best. They're the kings of it.
Where teams are trying to figure things out and adjust on the fly. And that's not to discredit anything the Bills have done offensively this season, because Joe Brady has been phenomenal for Josh Allen. That's why Josh Allen has been absolutely unstoppable and the runaway MVP this season. But their defense does this every year, where they start the season really, really hot, even after the big personnel changes this offseason. And down the stretch, their defense has really started to struggle as teams have figured it out, because McDermott struggles to make adjustments. He runs the system that he likes to run, and for the most part, it's effective. Now, without true stars on that side of the ball, they got some nice secondary pieces. They don't have a true star pass rusher, and they don't really have anybody else on that defense that puts fear in your heart the way that like a Chris Jones does for the Chiefs. You can start to poke holes in the Buffalo Bills. And you're like, okay, well, the Chiefs traditionally have had a lot of success slowing Josh Allen in the postseason, even if they can't do it in the regular season when he's playing out of his mind. And then if their defense isn't as good and you find ways to beat their defense in the playoffs, which Andy Reid traditionally has done, you have another recipe for the Chiefs to go to another Super Bowl.
I mean, it just feels like a repeat of the same thing. Now they're all going to have to come through Kansas City. And the Chiefs would have to blow it. In fairness, I mean, the easiest thing is just get this win on Wednesday. Then you get 10 days off and nobody has to play the last game of the season.
Sounds great.
You get 10 days off, and I'll just tell you the guys who get the day off, regardless of how long the break is. Travis Kelce and Chris Jones. Automatic. Just enjoy your time off, fellas. You will not be working for us on the last game against the Broncos. You want to give Mahomes and Hollywood Brown 15 snaps? I'm not here to really argue. But normally I am the play him a little bit, the rust thing versus rest and all this stuff. I don't think it's not real. But for a team who has played in 78 postseason games over the last 5 years, what do I think? You think I don't think they can take 2 weeks off and then be good? The Chiefs? Is there a team who better knows who and what they are in the postseason than that team? Yeah. It's different to me if you're taking 2 weeks off and you're a team who hasn't gone through this ringer, haven't moved in this area, haven't had to feel this before. The Chiefs could take a month off, and I'm pretty convinced it would not make them look rusty.
Yeah.
The only argument I guess you would make is this is the best football they're playing. This last 2-game stretch is the best 2-game stretch they've had all season. Short, but it's the best they've played over the course of a couple of weeks.
And it's not as if we don't have a large sample size of them doing exactly this. They do it every year. Now, maybe they lay another egg on Christmas Day, but Patrick Mahomes, despite the fact it seems like he is really disgruntled about playing on Christmas Day, has also mentioned multiple times this year how bad they were on Christmas Day last season.
Yeah, he seems like he's out for blood on Christmas.
Yeah, he was very upset with how he played and how they played as a whole against the Raiders last year. So I would expect you're going to get a better version of them this season because they know how important this thing is, and it would have been great if New England could have sealed the deal against Buffalo, and then you get even more time to rest and reassess things.
Just give everyone a month and a half off?
Yeah, the idea, and we kind of saw this with the Ravens, slow start in the playoffs after having a first-round bye and things like that. The Chiefs simply just don't do that. The more preparation time they have, the more rest time they have is better for them. They know what it means. They know what they have to do to get to where they want to go. And so I just simply don't think they're going to have that type of letdown performance in the playoffs. And what it's going to take is an incredible game from whoever their opponent is and where that maybe they have some costly mistakes or something like that. But in the playoffs, they are absolutely going to show up prepared and play their best football.
Cody Tapp, Steven Serda with you, James on the other side of the glass. Let's before we get to break, let's get to a quick random question of the day. I don't know if James knows where that sounder is, so I'll just say it. You don't have to look for it. Please don't go look for it. It's not. That's on Drew. He should. Serda, you used to be a producer. Drew's got to have a list of where stuff is and what plays.
Yes, I always did that. I color-coded everything to make it easy.
Mm-hmm. This is not on you, James. This is directly on Drew Nixon.
I'm sure it's there somewhere. I trust Drew's got the notes down.
But let's get to a random question of the day. The one I have for you today, for you, Serda, for you, James, the text line 913-586-7965. Video over on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, where you can subscribe, like the views over at the Fan 965. Question I have for you today, because I was asked this yesterday by someone, how many Christmas movies do you watch a year? So let's say December 1st hits. What is the average number of Christmas movies you get through in a season? I figured my average at about 4. I feel like I'm light than most people. I get through probably one classic. We watched Elf with the kids yesterday. I catch one, and this year it was the Chiefs' holiday touchdown movie because Alex was in it very briefly.
Yeah.
And his car, and because we joked about it on the show a lot. And then there's a couple of other ones, maybe an older one, maybe a newer one. I'm good for about 4 a year.
Yeah, see, as you know, Cody, I watch a lot of movies, and I would argue I probably more like 10 to 10 maybe a dozen, but it's not just traditional Christmas movies that you would think of because I watch obscure things
like Krampus-based horror stuff or something.
No, I haven't watched Krampus. That doesn't really interest me. But like, I watched It's a Wonderful Life with my girlfriend last night. Fantastic movie. Really enjoyed it. I hadn't watched it in probably 25 years, but really loved it. It was fantastic. But like, Violent Night was a Santa Claus like action movie that came out a couple of years ago that I really enjoyed. I watched this movie last week called Fat Man with Mel Gibson, and I know we're not supposed to like Mel Gibson anymore, but Walton Goggins was in it, and it came out a few years ago.
Everybody likes him.
Yeah, and it had good reviews. I watched it. I really enjoyed it. Like, I watch a lot of random Christmas movies that maybe aren't the most popular. And also,
I kind of remember the trailers for that.
Iron Man 3. Christmas movie.
That's a Christmas movie?
It counts. There's Christmas themes in Iron Man 3. It absolutely counts. I don't know if I've watched any other Christmas ones. I'm trying to think of it off the top of my head. I squeeze them in here and there, and I get really into the mood. I do the same thing around Halloween and everything, too. So it's just my thing.
Someone on the text line and over on the YouTube page and stuff, someone's like, 2, 3. Someone said like maybe like 15 or 20 because their wife really likes them. I can't. 15 to 20 is crazy. Like, I can't watch one a day. I want to consume other content besides 15, 20 movies. How many do you watch a year, James? You got kids, too. That also changes the number.
Yeah.
If we include 30-minute, like, SpongeBob Christmas specials, I might be at 100.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's just like those things, then it's doing it.
It's Halloween. I'm much more, like, invested in horror movies than I am cranking out Christmas movies.
Sure, yeah. No, I definitely, I've got kids, so that changes things a little bit. We watch the traditional, like, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and
I tried to put that on for my kid.
Frosty the Snowman. But I do like to dive into, like I mentioned earlier in the show, Die Hard. I watch it every year around Christmas time.
Okay.
And then I always like to try to get a new Christmas movie. This year, it was Dear Santa with Jack Black. And if you haven't seen it, I would highly suggest that one.
Where, like, the kid accidentally writes a letter to Satan?
Yes.
Oh, that sounds right up my alley.
The kid accidentally writes a letter to Satan, not Santa. And Satan comes up trying to, like, fulfill his Christmas wishes, but to get his soul, I think, is the the energy of the movie. I haven't seen it. I've just seen a trailer.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
This does sound right up your alley. Yeah. No, that's all. Just random question of the day. Just wanted to know how much Christmas movies we're watching. Maybe put one on the background of the TV, but now I got to put the Chiefs on Christmas Day. You know.
Yeah. See how that goes with the children.
They'll have things. It's easy on Christmas Day. They got all these new things to entertain themselves with. Man, they don't. And my kids will tolerate football being on, but I would not call them football fans yet, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're not anti it being on the television, and my daughter will ask things that are happening. Like she was asking during Tank, she's like, what's happening? Why are they all looking at him? I'm like, oh, man. Welcome to the brutal reality of the NFL. His knee got shredded into a million pieces.
Yeah, just don't watch the replay.
Yeah, they showed it why did they show that replay so many times? I'm not kidding, they showed the replay like 8 times, and then they came back from break and they're like, we're not going to show you anymore while they were actively showing it again. So, like, I don't understand. What was the point of showing me so many times Tank Tail's horrible injury?
I don't know why they do that. They didn't show the worst camera angle of it, though, which I think I saw later on social media, which was just like, my jaw was like on the floor. It's like, I don't need to see that again. No, thank you.
Yeah, it just kind of depends. When we come back, I want to talk about Xavier Worthy's performance as it's gone on later in this year. Plus, just a couple of things on what we've noticed about Mahomes lately.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at bluekc.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Thanks, Bob. We're here with Doug the Elf, asking about the hottest holiday gifts of the year. Doug, what's on your list?
Yeah, we're getting Missouri lottery scratchers and draw games. We came all the way from the North Pole.
They don't have lottery tickets there?
Now Missouri lottery tickets. They created a new millionaire every 8.1 days last year. Woohoo! I just won!
But I thought that was a gift.
Well, yeah, for me.
You heard it here first. Scratchers and draw games from the Missouri Lottery make great gifts for the holidays. Play it forward and play responsibly. Back to you in the studio.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at bluekc.com.
Well, you did it again. You waited to the last minute to find a special gift for your special lady. Guys, I've got your back at House of Diamonds. Earrings, pendants, and one-of-a-kind designs. You pick it, we wrap it. Come see me, Gene, at House of Diamonds.
The NFL playoffs are almost here. It's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up a W. You can bet on who will win the game, and FanDuel has bets for which players will score a touchdown, how many points each team will score, and more. Just visit FanDuel.com/610Bob to join today. That's FanDuel.com/610Bob for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel's offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help's your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Yeah, there are so many football games streaming this season. Can Xfinity Internet handle it?
Oh, we know the game is only live once, so we built a network with all-pro speeds and low lag so you don't miss a snap.
So I can yell, "He's open!" when he's actually open?
Yeah, but the quarterback still can't hear you.
Switch to Xfinity Internet and TV and enjoy instant access to your favorite live sports with the Xfinity Stream app. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Streaming content limited to the U.S. Programming subject to change.
Are you playing Roofer Roulette? That's when you bet your roof and your home on the first random roofer to ring your doorbell. Why do that when JR & Company offers a free hail and wind report online at jrstormcheck.com.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Chiefs football. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Back in here on Cody and Gold. Sorry, my headphones stopped working there for a minute. I have the same problem as you.
Yes.
I'm assuming the music is playing. Cody Tapp, Steven Serda with you. James on the other side of the glass. He's going to handle things for Serda, who'll be filling in for us on Thursday as well, as we take on this Christmas week, Hanukkah week. I don't know, whatever you celebrate. Alex did inform me that Hanukkah is the same day as Christmas this year, so I'm all caught up on that.
I had no idea.
Same day, man.
Yeah.
Or Hanukkah starts. Obviously, Hanukkah is 8 nights instead of 1. It starts on Christmas Day. You never celebrated Hanukkah?
No, I've never had the chance to do that. I would like to celebrate Hanukkah. I like eating food and getting presents, doing whatever any holiday celebration entails.
Do you like getting presents more or giving them? Because I don't really care to like. This sounds stupid, but I'm not kidding. I don't really care if I ever get a present.
Yeah.
That moves the needle far less for me.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. I like giving them. I like putting thought into them and coming up with like thoughtful things. Like, although I'm pretty guilty of like family members, I'm just like, here's a gift card. But like the people that I really want to put the work in for, I will put the work in for. But I am always that guy that's just like, just don't get me anything, or get me a gift card to the movies or something. You don't need to spend a lot of money on me. I'm fine.
Like, it'll get used. Over on the text line, somebody said D'Amico earlier gave an update on Tank Dell after suffering that really horrific injury at the end of the Chiefs game. Yeah, I think they were calling it an ACL and dislocated kneecap. And I mean, it's kind of everything, I'm sure. I felt really bad for Tank Dell. And I understand because, like, at that moment, the Texans were still in that game. But what I would say about that, which over the last 2 weeks I think has stood out about the Chiefs, Serda, is that was the Texans fighting to stay in the game. Like, at no point did it feel like the Texans were taking control of the game or doing something abnormal in the game. What happened in that moment, that terrific pass by C.J. Stroud, which he can still make, even better catch by Tank Dell when you consider the injury stuff at that point, I'll just tell you that the way that this works is that they were doing that to stay in the game, to stay alive, to fight, to do whatever, to fight to stay in the game. And that's when I know a team has control. The Chiefs had complete control of the Texans the entire time.
Yeah.
They had complete control over the Browns the entire time. This is the first time all year where I would say start to finish, it was a non-stressful, mostly uneventful, or just straight up fun.
Yeah.
Chiefs game to watch. The 6 turnovers against the Browns and Jameis Winston, and then this game in which they completely controlled a division-winning football team who they might face in the postseason again. We don't know. I think at this moment I would probably still choose Ravens or I don't know about the Steelers. If the Ravens are in the 5, I think they'll beat the Texans. But if it's the other way around, I'm probably the Texans, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that the Saints game and the 49ers game were the only other 2 games this season where I think you could maybe argue that. But like Saints, one of the worst teams in football. Now they had that 2-0 start. And we were like, ooh, is New Orleans kind of spicy? And now we know they're one of the absolute worst teams in the league.
They're not spicy.
And then the 49ers, obviously not the same team they were last season. And when the Chiefs played them, they had a lot of injuries and were really banged up. So not really the same type of game, but the Browns, even though they don't have a lot of wins, they're still an interesting team with Jameis Winston, at least not with Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
And certainly not before with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, and early in the game for the Texans, that beautiful touchdown to Tank Dell, like that was the version of the Texans that we were supposed to get this season, because the Texans, they're a playoff team, sure, but coming into this season, at least for me, I thought they were going to be a bona fide Super Bowl
I thought they were going to compete for the number 1 seed. Weak division, quarterback coming off of Rookie of the Year, but their offensive line stinks, so their offense never got anything going. And defensively, they're a liability.
Yeah, and their offensive line is very bad, like very, very bad, like worse than the Chiefs' levels of bad. And but their rookie season, it was run the football, play action, create explosive plays downfield with C.J. Stroud. And then this season, Bobby Slowick hasn't really adjusted much, and he's just trying to do the exact same things, but you can't do that in the NFL. You have to constantly adjust. And so they've taken this step back, but for a moment in the first half, CJ Stroud and the Texans against this Chiefs team, like, it did look like we had a game, but I totally agree with you. The Chiefs were in control of this thing. The Chiefs were in charge of this thing from start to finish. And I never wavered and thought, oh, the Texans are going to come back and win this game like they have made me do over the last 6 weeks or so prior to the last couple of games. But for a moment, we got the Texans that I thought we were going to get initially when we saw the schedule and saw this late season game against that team.
I know this is going to sound, and I'm sure that somebody had said it sounded this way earlier in the show. I think with the progression of Xavier Worthy, who I think is the Chiefs' number one target unless Hollywood Brown is going to take it away from them at this point because of what he's been over the last 5 weeks. He's also had 11 targets each of the last 2 games. So he has continued to grow since the Buffalo game. Since that time, he is on pace for essentially 950 yards and 8 touchdowns over the course of a season. This is one of the benefits of injury. Last year, because they had no wide receivers and they had to get Rashee Rice going, he got the benefit of fast-tracked development. And Xavier Worthy got the benefit of fast-track development in a year where I don't think their plan was to ever have Xavier Worthy turn into this by the time the season was done. They might very well have ended up drafting their version of, maybe it's a 90% or 95% of A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. I think that Rashee Rice was going to be a 1,200-yard receiver before he got hurt.
Yeah.
I think that Devonta Smith is a 900 to 1,000-yard wide receiver with game-breaking speed, which is clearly what Xavier Worthy is. They have now 2 very qualified wide receivers going into next year for multiple years of crazy cheap control. But I think that Xavier Worthy has developed in a massive way to the point that's really not being discussed even highly enough probably for their opponents because you have to take him serious as the Chiefs' number 1 wide receiver threat.
Yeah, he's been that, and I've been talking about that a lot on the pod. Because I felt like it was flying under the radar because of the narrative of like, oh, the Chiefs winning ugly. They can't connect deep. They all these one possession games, and I was like, quietly, Xavier Worthy has had a really expanded role over the last month or so.
Over the last 2 games, it's been even more than that.
And he's getting tons of targets, but they're not just deep shots. They're manufactured targets that are trying to utilize his speed and get him into space, which is how I've been begging Andy Reid to use him all season. But I think, and I totally agree with you on Rashee Rice. Like, I think prior to injury, Rashee Rice had a strong chance of leading the NFL in receptions this season, the way things were going. He would have been in that running, and I think he would have been a 12 to 1,400-yard wide receiver. But now with the development of Xavier Worthy, similar to what they did with Rashee Rice last season, last year it was late in the year, fine, we're going to commit to Rashee Rice and what he does well. He may be a one-trick pony, but it seems like defenses can't stop that guy when you hit him on a slant or you hit him in the intermediate part of the field on a crosser.
It's too fast.
And he goes and breaks tackles and sheds guys and creates down the field. And now Xavier Worthy, he can create the separation. I think we're going to connect on a deep shot, maybe in the playoffs.
I think sometime in the next... So the problem is that they might not play against Denver if they win this game on Wednesday. But I think sometime in the next 3 games, I'll say. I'll give them the first round of their opening playoff round.
Yeah. And sometimes that's all it takes is for Andy Reid to commit to, like, okay, we can't just keep running this guy deep down the field and hoping that we create those. I really wish they'd stop doing that with Justin Watson, too. Like, get Hollywood Brown in that role now and do it with Xavier Worthy. But, like, the manufactured touches are massive. Like, when you talk about the best playmakers in the NFL, like, what do you talk about? You talk about those guys command touches. Those offenses scheme things up and find ways to get them the football. And the way the Chiefs are doing that with Xavier Worthy now, and on top of, Hopkins being reliable, Kelsey being reliable when they need him, and Hollywood Brown back in the mix, like Worthy is going to have a huge role in the postseason, the way that they have deployed him over the last few games.
And if Travis Kelce gets to rest and turns into playoff Travis again, exactly like he did last year, well, then they do have the best offense in the AFC. Like this is not a hard transition for me. Xavier Worthy stays playing at this level, but they just get him more and more involved, which they've done. He was pretty much at like 4 to 5 catches, 6 to 7 targets, 4 weeks in a row. Over the last 2 weeks, it's 6 to 7 catches, 9, 10, 11 targets per game, and he's taken a nice glide forward in the development process. If all it takes is Travis Kelce to get a breather, and then he just gets to be the same thing, then, you're having a different conversation. You're immediately kind of right back in there, and then they're the best offense in the AFC all of a sudden. And I know that there are other offenses really good, and Lamar Jackson is probably the answer for this because of how well they've done offensively all season, or the Bills or whatever. But, the Chiefs can compete with those teams offensively if Xavier Worthy is going to also do this. Travis Kelce's rested, and now Hollywood Brown's in the offense for the first time all season, and had 5 catches for 45 yards, including a couple of third down catches. And what I think is, for the team that has already been, this is the one thing on offense that they have been all year. Team has already been the number 1 team on third down. They've been the best third down team all year. Tell me how you guard them on third down. Let's just say it's 3rd and 5. What is your answer? We're going to bracket Travis Kelce. That used to be the answer. Good. Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
So you're just going to leave everyone else one-on-one? Let's just say you're going to double Travis and you're going to double Xavier Worthy because now he's the number 1.
Yeah.
And what? Just leave DeAndre Hopkins alone against your second corner for 5 yards, or Hollywood Brown alone on your third corner for 5 yards? I don't know that there's a good way to defend this team on third down anymore, if this is who they are.
And they were already successful on third down this season prior to having this plethora of weapons. Like, you're so right, because it's, what do you do? Well, we saw it last week against the Texans. Okay, Hollywood Brown, first game back, has a very limited role, only plays a handful of snaps. Where do they go on 4th down? Wide open Hollywood Brown for a big play. Hollywood Brown also had another third down conversion that was big. Hopkins had a big third down conversion for the Chiefs. Like, they have guys, and I think we talk about the Chiefs' experience, and that's why it's so meaningful that they have these veteran guys coming back and getting into the mix this late in the season. Because Travis Kelce is going to have a Hall of Fame caliber postseason catch somewhere down the line. He does it every year. We know that he's going to do that. DeAndre Hopkins has never played meaningful football in the way that he is going to play meaningful football this year for the Chiefs. So I'm willing to bank that he is going to have a key moment in this postseason for the Chiefs.
There's one reason why I'm worried DeAndre Hopkins will not have a big postseason moment. And it's not been addressed on any show that I've seen so far. Did you see how comically big his coat was on Sunday? Guys, it was 35 degrees. It was not that cold at Arrowhead on Sunday. By Arrowhead December standards, it was not that cold. And the size of coat that DeAndre Hopkins needed in a post-game press conference felt a bit much. It was like Sherpa-lined and like wind-resistant. That looked like a man who had spent his time playing in Arizona and Houston and wanted nothing to do with the cold.
Okay, but he's already played games in the cold here in Kansas City. I don't fault him after the game wanting to be bundled up. I thought it was going to be like that Tom Brady giant sideline coat or something. That's not that's not that bad. I'm not gonna.
That's a pretty big coat, man.
I'm not going to doubt future Hall of Famer DeAndre Hopkins because of that coat. It was chilly. It wasn't crazy cold, I don't think, on Saturday, but it was chilly enough.
I just think, I'm a little worried what we're going to see is a progressively larger coat as the postseason goes on. We're working our way to that Tom Brady sideline coat at some point.
Yeah.
Where he's in a coat 5 sizes too big.
Hey, and that's fine. Bundle up, DeAndre. Keep those hands warm for your key postseason moment. As long as you make the catch and don't drop an easy one, I don't care how you bundle up on the sideline.
So you're not buying into my he won't play in it? Because there were think about the Miami Dolphins last year. They didn't want to play in the cold. The second they stepped out on the field, they were like, "Ooh, this sucks."
Yeah, but that's the Dolphins. We knew the Dolphins were soft. DeAndre Hopkins is a Hall of Famer. He's going to fight through the cold.
Okay, that's fair. He is a Hall of Famer, and I'm sure he's played in several cold weather games in his career, but not cold weather in a postseason run. This has got to be so exciting for him, by the way.
Yeah.
He has been toiling in mediocre football teams his entire career. even though he has been great his entire career. And now he gets to be with the best quarterback in the league, on the team with the best record in the league, fighting for a Super Bowl for the first time in his career. I mean, if I were him, I'd be pretty motivated by it. Or if you're one of these players who are motivated by, getting there. Someone just said they don't care if it's a Russian doll size of 5 different goat standards.
Yeah.
Stay warm on those sidelines. From the 651, Super Bowls are indoors. Just get him that Super Bowl game. It'll be all ready to go.
It'll be fine. He's going to come up with the huge play.
Derek Carr didn't play well in the cold either. Some players don't play well in the cold. They're usually mediocre players.
And Brock Purdy can't play in the rain because he's got small hands. Like DeAndre Hopkins at least has the physical capabilities to fight through the cold to make something happen.
I don't think he likes it, though.
I
don't think anyone's asked him, but I don't think he likes the cold.
I don't like the cold either. Some players like it, some players don't. But DeAndre Hopkins is going to have a crucial moment for the Chiefs in the postseason. I guarantee it.
It's like the only reason I don't want a dome when and if the Chiefs build they're going to build a new stadium at some point, but when they build a new stadium, I'm like, I kind of don't want a dome. Like, I do think that there's an advantage between forcing these teams, not the Bills and Josh Allen because they're used to it, but every other team in the league, forcing them to come to your building, play outside, and do this. So unless you play in the AFC North, in which every team plays in the blistering cold, apparently throughout the year, all these teams are going to get kind of soft. Like, if anything, it'll help the Chicago Bears because of all these years of having to play in disgusting 50-mile-per-hour winds. But kind of like the teams have to play outside at Arrowhead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in favor of it. I'm not one of those people that's like, make every stadium a dome so nobody has to worry about weather conditions. Like, we don't get those magical moments like Jameis Winston beating the Pittsburgh Steelers on Thursday Night Football in a blizzard. Like, those are the things we remember. That was a meaningless football game in like week 14 of an NFL regular season. And I still remember the pictures from that game because it was just so much fun watching Jameis do that in the snow. Like, I do think fighting through the adversity of weather conditions matters. And I do think that's why you can make the case a player like Jared Goff, who the Lions somehow managed to have like 90% of their games were indoors this season. But Jared Goff traditionally struggles in bad weather games and in cold weather games. Like, I think it absolutely affects some players, and so it is an advantage in a small way to the Chiefs.
From the 816, when they build a new stadium, is that happening? Did I miss something? Okay, so here's
it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Has any news changed? No. Let me just tell you how this worked. Clark Hunt is very sentimental to Arrowhead Stadium, and I do think part of him wanted to preserve it if people would have just paid to preserve it for the payment of preserving it. But that vote went horribly, and their renovation plans weren't good. Like, they weren't good or well received. I don't think he's going to preserve Arrowhead just for the sake of it. The biggest lost thing in all the stadium stuff, and I'm sure you covered it too, Serda, over at Foolish Club Media, the same as we did here, is that the Royals and the Chiefs were asking for the same amount of money. And the Royals were like, look at this cool downtown stadium with all of its bells and whistles. And the Chiefs are like, what if we had a bigger sidewalk? And I'm like, that's it? You want the same money? So you can put a canopy on the upper floors and there's a couple of end zone suites? Pass.
Yeah.
Not interested in your bad plan to save this infrastructure. They wanted to save it only if you were willing to pay to preserve it. They don't want to save it that bad. I think that in the end, they'll just go to a new stadium at this point.
Yeah, I do believe that Clark Hunt is very sentimental about Arrowhead Stadium. And in a perfect world would get whatever he wants from Kansas City, Missouri to renovate and revamp and do that. But also, you can also read a little bit into the Chiefs' proposal.
He only wanted the 20-year thing. They weren't trying to save it forever.
Yeah, like with the assets that the Chiefs have, with the success that they've had in recent years with Patrick Mahomes, how much season tickets cost. You're telling me that was their plan for a renovated stadium? Like, some of that reads as like, that's intentional. Like, we didn't want that plan to go through because we know there could be better options on the table that we would like to explore.
Yes. It was, I don't know if it was like an intentional tank job. Like, they did it just to blow the vote. I just don't think that they were like, if it doesn't go our way, we're fine. I couldn't, so after all this, and I blame the Chiefs early on. The Royals should be so mad at the Chiefs for how that vote went down. They completely stayed out of the fight for like 6 months. Said nothing. Let the Royals do all the heavy lifting, take all the arrows, take all the fire from all the fandom, took all the heat for the sales, all of it, took all the heat. And then when they chimed in, it was with a terrible plan. They're like, hey guys, we're finally coming to the table.
It was 2 weeks.
How do you feel about a walkway and an AstroTurf football field where Kaufman used to be? You're like, what?
Yeah.
My God, no, that's not what any of us wanted. No one was asking for the 70-yard turf football field so you can have like a 500-person concert with Tech Nine. I appreciate the effort, I guess, but you could have come stronger to the table with this. And some of it is just knowing the way the business works.
Yeah.
It's going to get harder and harder to get a stadium built if you're an NFL team.
They rolled that out like 2 weeks before the vote, too. Mm-hmm. Like they sat out a lot of it, and they let the Royals do the legwork. And the Royals, like, to their credit, the Royals are asking for a lot. The Chiefs, I think, didn't want to be the organization that was like, give us a brand new stadium. And so they came out with, we're happy to renovate Arrowhead, but now there's options on the table that could be a brand new stadium. And so they're like, well, why wouldn't we listen to that? Why wouldn't we explore those options?
We'll talk more about the upcoming game against the Chiefs and a couple of other things I want to get to with Steven Serda, who's with us for the final 30 minutes of the show. Just real quick, we had mentioned Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy and some of these players who stand out. My current stance, and I would like to know if anyone disagrees, 913-586-7965. My current stance is Jaden Hicks is their best safety, and they should play him more and more and more. At the very least, has a nose for the football. He has 3 interceptions this season, which leads all defensive backs on the entire team with like 25% of the snaps. I know that this is unpopular if I were to say this to the Chiefs coaching staff, and they would be like, that's a crazy trade-off, and I think they're wrong. If you have a nose for the football, I don't care if you screw up other ways, I want you on the field. If you force turnovers, I want you on the field over the guy whose hips turn the right way out of the break and doesn't blow it against a tight end every once in a while. Jaden Hicks, who I said 2 weeks ago should have been playing more, has been playing more, should play even more than that. He is their best safety.
Yeah. I agree. I think he's certainly their rangiest safety because that's kind of the problem with these Spags drafted safety types is like they all kind of do the same thing. They're all really, really good line of scrimmage tacklers, and we know Steve Spagnuolo wants everybody in a secondary to be a great tackler, and that's something the Chiefs have excelled at over the last several years. But none of them are particularly great in coverage. Jaden Hicks, in his recent expanded role, has shown some ability in coverage that Brian Cook simply doesn't have, that Justin Reid simply doesn't have. Chamari Connor, playing out of position, probably is a slot cornerback more so than a typical safety, simply does not have the coverage skills. Chamari Connor showed a little bit of ability to find turnovers and stuff, but in coverage, he's a flat-out liability. Jaden Hicks should have been more involved earlier, I think, and all the returns, and every time we saw him in the preseason, too, it was like, oh, Jaden Hicks is out there making plays. Like, every time he gets an opportunity, he goes out there and makes something happen. And so I do think we're going to see a lot more of him moving forward. And I'm really excited because it feels like the Chiefs actually have like a rangy safety, which they haven't had in a while.
No, Justin Reid was the exact same type as Tyrann Mathieu. I would argue because they got paid identical contracts. You probably should have stuck with Tyrann Mathieu. I think Tyrann Mathieu's played just as good, if not a hair better than Justin Reid. Not way worse, but like you wouldn't have had to have the learning curve and like the figuring out the new system part. You could have just like rolled him in. I'm not arguing against Justin Reid's been a good player for them. They've had the best defense in the NFL last year and a top 5 defense this year with him. So he is not a hindrance to what they do. But it's just like it's the constant insistence to choose technique over skill, over like physical ability.
Yeah.
And when it comes to a position where like you spent 14 weeks having 10 turnovers, which was bottom 3 in the NFL, and it just so happens the second he starts playing, interceptions occur. I kind of want the risk-taking guys every once in a while.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got the pass rush to match it. And maybe that's what it took. It took Charles Omenihu and Chris Jones playing together and Karlaftis all playing together so that the pass rush could force you into aggressive plays in the secondary versus just keeping your head above water, which they did for a little while in the secondary, and that's okay. But that might have been what changed it. We'll talk more about that in just a minute. Plus, where the offensive line was, what we think about Joe Thuney. Should that stick around the rest of the year? We'll get to that next here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
This NFL Monday Night Football, FanDuel wants you to win even bigger. Right now, all customers can get a 30% catch-a-pass profit boost on the Saints-Packers game. That means you can boost your next NFL catch-a-pass bet by 30% and take home even more winnings during the game. Bet on over-unders, spreads, player props, and so much more. Plus, if you win, you'll get paid instantly. So don't wait. Download America's #1 sportsbook by visiting FanDuel.com/Alex to take advantage of a profit boost today. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Max wager amount applies. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Lovebirds, you're in for a treat. With your holiday proposal just around the corner, Shane Company is here to help you create your dream engagement ring. This is your moment. Let's make it magical. Through 4 generations as a family business, we've helped tons of couples find a beautiful engagement ring for a price that works with their budget. We've always sourced diamonds directly, cut out the middleman, and passed the savings on to you. At Shane Company, we have the widest selection of ring settings and center stones, in stock and ready to compare side by side. It's so easy. Choose a look that brings your vision to life. From classic styles to modern designs, we have them all. Then pick out a natural or lab-grown diamond, a sapphire in your favorite color, or a vibrant gemstone like ruby or amethyst. With our everyday competitive prices and free lifetime warranty, your forever after is safe with us. Visit shaneco.com and come see us in store. We've got your dream ring and fine jewelry gifts for everyone on your list. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
Christmas is just around the corner, and if you're wondering what gifts to give friends and family, no worries. Gates Barbecue is here to help. Gates gift packs and combo packs are tasty gifts for the barbecue lover on your list. And Gates gift cards and logo apparel are perfect stocking stuffers, or if you're exchanging gifts at the office or you have family out of town. Visit their website, gatesbbq.com, and ship right to their front door. Remember, buy Gates. It's a Kansas City tradition.
Are you in need of top quality metal for your next project? Look no further than Metal by the Foot. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. The Foot. Blue Demon Welding Supplies, filler rods, and wire. The Foot. Bronius Professional Welding Equipment, Service and Repairs. The Foot. Located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
What does it mean to be the official information technology provider for the Chiefs? It means everything. Technology Group Solutions makes sure everything runs flawlessly for the millions of fans that attend games and the hundreds of millions of fans that comprise Chiefs Kingdom around the world. Technology Group Solutions can deploy that same dedication, problem solving, and incredible service to ensure your business runs smoothly. Technology Group Solutions, powering Chiefs Kingdom and ready to do the same for you.
What if you could hear your favorite song for the first time again? Introducing the all-new reimagined Nissan Kicks with an available Bose Personal Plus sound system that uses speakers in the headrest to create a 360-degree listening experience. You've never heard anything like this. Reimagine your music and your drive. Experience the all-new reimagined Nissan Kicks for yourself at nissanusa.com today.
Available feature. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Brought to you by the Kansas City Symphony.
Experience the film that started it all as your Kansas City Symphony performs with a full movie on the big screen. Don't miss this magical concert January 29th through February 1st. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone in concert. Tickets at kcsymphony.org.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Wrap it up here on Cody and Gold. 96.5 The Fan. Cody Tapp, Steven Serda with you. James on the other side of the glass. Handling things well today. First time I've worked with James. First time you've worked with James, and you're filling in on our show on Thursday, so you'll get to see him again then.
Yeah, gonna have to hit up James on Christmas Day. Sorry, Dad. Just gonna let you know what's going on the 26th.
Prepare you accordingly, for the show. He's gonna have to probably let you in the building. I mean,
yes. Yeah, we got to figure that out, too.
They took your key card away when you quit the first time?
Yeah, and I kept it, I think, at one point just to see how long it would work after I left. And then one day I did try to come up here because I left something behind and I wanted to see if it was still here, but it didn't work. And so I'm sure it's gone now. I've been back in the building and kind of looked around for it, and I feel like it got swiped.
You didn't find it in there?
No.
I did look for like a couple of things because it's always like, you're back in and I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's do some of the stuff we used to do, or let's have a little fun. I was like, we could do Serda's Pop Culture Corner. Intro doesn't exist. I was like, I could play some of the jingles from when I made When You Quit.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, and they're all listed as jingle. Can you tell me the day you quit? Because that would actually really help me maybe guess. Maybe I still have one of those still in the system.
I know my first day at SB Nation was June 1st, 2020. So
that system doesn't go that far back.
Yeah, it would have been I think I was here like the Friday before that was like my last day, and then I started at SB Nation like on that Monday.
Okay, for those who are new to this show, we got a lot of new listeners on 96.5 The Fan. The FM side, it's been quite beneficial, turns out.
Nice.
Matter of fact, I'm going to make a promise before the holiday season now. I'm not even going to ask Alex's permission because this only involves me. It doesn't matter. This feels like it should be a show-related announcement. Doesn't matter. Turns out the ratings have been pretty good for this show.
Nice.
So good, in fact, that I might be in line for some financial compensation as it relates to the ratings of this show.
Hey.
And here is what I promise. That if you keep listening to this show for the remainder of the year, and we got one Chiefs game on noon, so just like turn it on or whatever, and the ratings continue to be financially beneficial to me, if I get one of those bonuses, I'll spend it on you. I will create a tab at Kelly's for like $500 and we can all go drink on it. Does that seem fair?
Really?
I will take the money that is given to me as part of this bonus. I will immediately put it on a tab at Kelly's and we'll find a day where we can all go drink together.
I'm assuming Gold also would be eligible for a bonus.
He would.
Of some kind.
I can't speak to if he would put his money towards it. I will account for my 500.
Well, so now if they pull it off, then you can lean into it with Gold and be like, well, it's the holiday season and we're giving back to our audience and our listeners. Yeah. And it might be cool if you don't have to do 500, but maybe a couple $100 just maybe on top of it. Sweeten maybe it up. Give them incentive to push us over the top at the end of the year.
I can't speak for his, but I feel like this is one of those, I wouldn't have gotten this money if people didn't listen to this show. So I will just give the money back to the people who have technically earned me this cash. It's that, or we could do something ludicrous. These are our choices. We can have a tab and we can all hang out and have fun, or we can choose something ludicrous to put it on and see how crazy we can get. We can put on a $500 parlay and just see if we can make the party even more fun. I'm open to some options here. The point is that the money is yours, the listeners, for us to have fun with.
So that's interesting, though, the parlay idea. Like, can they vote instead of just getting drinks and hanging out, which is something
cool.
To your credit, I feel like Cody and Gold are very good about giving back to the audience and finding ways to hang out and mix it up. But could you imagine just inviting your audience members and friends to Kelly's and you got $500 on a Chiefs parlay or something?
You got to pay for your own drinks, but we're same game parlay for the Chiefs that we're all watching together?
On a postseason parlay that's going to pay out like $8,000 or something?
And then we promise with the $8,000 to do something even more ludicrous show-related. Not a parlay, but like an even bigger party of even more ludicrous nature.
Then you can put on your version of the Cody and Gold Eras Tour party.
Oh, my God. The Cody and Gold Eras. That would actually be a great theme. So you're an era?
Yeah.
Cody and Gold new era. Then there's the COVID era. Yeah. We definitely had the COVID era. Some Super Bowl era Cody and Gold shows. I mean, God, man, the you know what? If we did that, I'd be even willing with that $8,000 to put on an entire production that is a musical based on Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's Falling in Love Together, in which I play Travis Kelce. I will create custom-made songs for it with that $8,000. Custom-made costumes in which we create an entire, one night only Broadway-style performance. The point is that part of this money is yours. But you got to promise to keep listening, because the way that this works is it's a quarter. The quarter ain't over yet. So we still got a whole nother week. So when Serda's talking on Thursday, I need you to still listen to this show.
Yes, and please do it because, I want to engage with you guys and hopefully do a good job filling in. So they asked me back because I enjoy doing this occasionally.
Somebody said you need to parlay the yes out of that much.
That seems like obviously the much more reckless option.
Oh, yeah, the infinitely more reckless
But the payoff would be incredible.
Like, I mean, even if it's just a 10-1 parlay, you're talking about four. You're talking about a lot of money.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, that could seriously up the production budget of anything you want to do in the new year.
$5,000? I mean, we could still do that same Kelly's party, We still have the $500 tab and then still $4,500 to mess around with.
Yeah, that should be it then. You can come hang out with us at Kelly's, but this tab's not free. But if we hit this parlay,
the tab's free.
We'll really put on a party after that.
This party will really kick ass. Yeah, I'm willing to do that for you. But again, it's kind of on you, if we're being honest. Someone says, 816, opera singer here. Count me in for the show. Great. Opera singer, I'll just be honest with you. You are immediately cast as him. His song doesn't have anything to do with their love, but instead his love of cheeseburgers. But don't worry, you'll love it. The lines will be well written and crafted, and we'll cover it on that end. That's it. I was going to try to pull. For those who are new to the show, I was occasionally doing a random jingle for this show, but I made a bunch for Serda as he was leaving. But I mean, all these just say like jingle 1. I don't even know what they're for. Jingle 1, 2, 3, 4, 14.
What year are they?
2021. All right, I'm just going to play one. This one says.
Okay, no, so It was 2021 when I left, not 2020, I think, right?
It was post-COVID?
Yes. Okay, so it was June 1st, 2021, because, I didn't quite hit 3 years at SB Nation, so it would have been June of this year would have been my 3 years.
So it feels possible. I mean, I can't say for sure. It seems possible that this is a jingle about you. Let's give a random jingle a listen.
All right.
That was pretty good.
That wasn't bad.
All right,
right out of the gate.
If that one is a jingle for you, then this one must be too. That was the best one. that was for again, if you're a new listener to the show, you might not realize that Serda was the first producer of Cody and Gold. And then eventually left.
I did kind of forget about the jingles, and I enjoy even more that they're all just like 12 seconds long. that you made several of them, and they were all very short and to the point about me leaving the show at the time.
I mean, they were just, I didn't want you to leave. And then we got a good producer and Nick, and he left. I didn't even create him a jingle. I think I made him a song. I think that was one of my, honest to God, one of my favorite moments on this show, because you did not know that I had made those. And they're very aggressive. And so, you're just immediately put in a position to have to live react to those.
And I think that was on my last day. So, the decision was already made. There was no walking back at that point.
Yeah, that was on your very last day. Alex, he had already had, pre-scheduled out-of-town vacation. So it was me, you, and a friend of mine, Pete. You probably don't know him. And so he was also on the show, and we finished out in style, Sometimes this stuff happens. We'll finish talking Chiefs here for the last couple of minutes of the show, since we've got a big game coming up on Christmas Day. I still think it's reasonable to complain about the schedule for the Chiefs. They don't have to. They can just play their games and win them, which they've done 2 of the first 3 they had to play in a 10-11 game stretch. I felt better about the offensive line. I say that with caution, because I don't want it to make it seem like I'm overly confident in them. But the second game with Joe Thuney was better than the first. When Jawan Taylor went out, they didn't completely implode. With Wanye Morris for the remainder of the game, I am cautiously optimistic that if DJ Humphries never comes back for this team, and he did not practice again today, Chris Jones, DJ Humphries, and Shakamari Connor all didn't practice, that they could maybe hold up with Joe Thuney. Be better than they were under Wanye or Kingsley. It's still not my preferred plan. My preferred plan is DJ Humphries starts week 18 of the season as his starting left tackle, but they at least show that they maybe aren't a sinking ship with Joe Thuney at left tackle.
Yeah, I think this week is going to be really interesting to see how it plays out, because I don't think DJ Humphries is going to be available this week. So yeah, you are talking week 18, and then it's if he can't play week 18, then we're talking about changing up the offensive line chemistry in the playoffs. I don't think you want to do that, especially if you end the season strong that way. And Jawan Taylor is now limited too. He's a little bit banged up after the last game. Wanye Morris kind of looked good at right tackle when he had to step in against
better right than he did against
rush.
Left.
Yeah, but much more natural position for him as a player. So I just don't think, if it keeps going this way, and I assume this is the offensive line that you're going to have to trot out this week against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and if they look good against a good Steelers pass rush, I just feel like this is kind of what you have to lean into moving forward, because DJ Humphries only had the half game sample size prior to getting injured, but offensive line chemistry absolutely matters. Trust in those guys matters, and him
at some point it might be too late for Humphries.
Yeah, him having no playing time, and then he was supposed to have the ramp-up period. Wanye Morris is such a disaster against the Raiders that they expedited all of that and forced him onto the field before he was really ready, causes a hamstring injury, which hamstring injuries have a tendency to linger and be re-aggravated in the NFL.
Especially in an offensive line position where you're using that a lot.
It just feels like you're not going to get enough return on the investment. That contract that you signed him, kind of thinking he would be your savior at left tackle down the stretch, just kind of feels like that's a negative for you moving forward. And this can work. And this is kind of what you have to move forward with, because the sample size so far is two of the best offensive performances that you've put together as a team all season long.
This is the best the team's looked. If I were the rest of the AFC, I'd be so mad. Because what happened was, maybe they were always going to catch their stride and be a problem in the postseason. But at least you could have kept them out of the 1 seed. When the Chiefs were playing bad football, and you had them not down and out, but you had them kind of down a little bit, where a field goal made by Denver causes them a game when they'd have to win outright. Imagine if they just lost one of those games. They won them all. They deserve credit for winning them. But if they had just stumbled in one of the many games in which they could have lost because the games were close late, the Chiefs would have to win out to get the 1 seed. If they had lost 2, they wouldn't even be in the 1 seed. When they were still figuring it all out, you could have stopped them from being the number 1 seed. And now what's happening is they're playing their best football, and they're only going to need to win twice in order to get to the postseason or to get to the Super Bowl. That's it. And both those games are going to be at home, and they're playing better football. You've made a horrible mistake. Massive misstep by the entire AFC for the better part of 2 months when they could have taken advantage of it. The only team who even tried to do the job was Buffalo.
Yeah.
Everyone else came up short.
And I think more importantly, too, and something we probably haven't talked about enough with Joe Thuney at left tackle, Mahomes looks more comfortable. Like, Mahomes looks like he trusts the offensive line as much as he's trusted it all season long. Because
they were turnstile before, man.
Yeah, and Joe Thuney is just that exceptional of an athlete. Like, credit to him. All-Pro, Hall of Fame caliber guard. Also could just step out at left tackle and go up against one of the best pass rushes in the NFL in Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, and then also Myles Garrett, who's playing at a defensive player of the year level this season. Like, Joe Thuney is an incredible player, and I think more importantly than just the offensive line chemistry and the overall play is the trust that Mahomes has in him, because we've just seen how fast this offense can crater when Mahomes doesn't trust the blocking, when he's questioning what he's seeing downfield because he's questioning whether or not he's going to get drilled from his blind side. And I think that matters even more than the overall play of the offense.
That's been going on for a while. It's been very undersold. Mahomes threw 9 interceptions in his first 7 games. He's thrown 2 in his last 8. And both of those were in the same game, by the way. The Buffalo game, one of those was an absolute garbage time touchdown. They would have 9 points in the fourth quarter on a 4th down, and he heaved one. So realistically, he's thrown 1 legitimate interception in his last 8 games, Serda. And for a while, it was at the detriment of sacks. Like, he was just choosing to get sacked instead of choosing to take an interception, which was smart, by the way. That's the proper way to do it.
Yeah.
But his risk mitigation is part of the reason they win every game. Like, they took away the risk out of the offense. They don't really fumble the ball all that often. They're pretty protecting there. And now Mahomes isn't going to give it away he's not going to give it away in the interception game. Well, then how the hell are you going to beat him? And the answer is you aren't, right? Because if he's the only game in which they've won every game, they haven't turned it over in those 8 games. The only game they lost is when he threw 2. And that Bills one was quick, right? Wasn't that the first drive?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was immediately, and then the Bills were up 7-0.
It was frustrating. It was
like the second or third play.
It was absolutely a forced throw by Patrick Mahomes. But I don't want to make it seem like Joe Thuney has all of a sudden fixed all of the Chiefs' offensive line problems. Like, it's not like the Texans didn't get pressure on Mahomes and give him some problems in that game. But what has also helped it is Andy Reid leaning into the quick precision passing game, which isn't nearly as exciting, but Mahomes excels at it, and the offense works, and the offense is functional. So you just can't have him dropping back, going 4, 5, 6 seconds, trying to buy time and wait for things to develop downfield or run around in the pocket anymore. Like, the offense just doesn't work that way. You got to get rid of the ball fast. You got to lean into the precision, quick stuff, which the Chiefs have the personnel to excel at. Like, just lean into that, and it'll be better. It'll functionally just be better moving forward.
Well, especially with the moving pieces now. This all goes back to the wide receiver stuff we were saying earlier, which is when you have this many options, quick passing game, they're hard to cover.
Yeah.
Xavier Worthy, DeAndre Hopkins, Hollywood Brown, Travis Kelce, and Noah Gray on the field at the same time. That's hard to cover. That's a difficult thing to do defensively, and you're going to run into these problems on there. Since I don't have any shows this week, let's do a little game predictions brought to you by Volkswagen Lee Summit. Winter clearance time over Volkswagen Lee Summit. You can get up to $8,000 off. Atlas or Atlas Cross Sports are up to $5,000 off. Tiguan's like mine, or Jettas, or Tauses, or some of the other models they have available at Volkswagen Lee Summit. You got an official score prediction yet? Have you thought about it? Mine, earlier, we shot the video for our social media that'll go out on game day. I said 15-12 all field goals. Just feels right for Christmas Day. Used to be frustrated as hell. 5 field goals for the Chiefs, 4 for the Steelers, and they win 15-12 to get the number 1 seed.
I do think the Steelers had a game earlier this season where Chris Boswell hit like 6 field goals, and they put up 18 points.
And won.
And won, and didn't score a touchdown.
Of all teams, they beat the Ravens.
Yes.
18-16 in that game.
And then, of course, the no touchdown playoff game against the Chiefs, where I think...
where Justin Houston was in coverage on Antonio Brown, 60 yards down the field. Yeah, I remember.
I think they're going to score touchdowns. I'm not willing to go the field goal route on this one, but I think it's going to be, I think the Chiefs are going to look good again, and I have confidence. So I think it's going to be 24-13 Chiefs.
James, you got a prediction?
27-14, Kansas City.
27-14. So we all like the Chiefs to win on Christmas Day. Sir, I really appreciate you coming in for the last couple of hours.
Yeah.
If you would, go ahead.
Thanks for having me. It's always a blast stepping in.
If you enjoyed having Serda back, he will be filling in for our show on Thursday, the day after Christmas. The Drive's coming up next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now